Wait, hold on. Cheryl, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's start here. Let's see. Are we live? I'm not sure. I think we are. Okay. Yes, we are. All right. Okay. So, guys, I'm using a new platform tonight that I've never used before. So, bear with me because uh, what is it called? StreamYard is blocking me something serious, and it seems to be StreamYard specifically. Like whenever I get on, all of a sudden my camera is blocked, my mic is blocked. We've had numerous issues with Sister Keisha and Brother Tad, like doing their programs where everything is ready to go, and as soon as I get on, no go. So I'm using something else tonight, something called Restreams, and I don't know how to use it. If you thought I didn't know how to use StreamYard, child, I really don't know how to use this. Okay, so just bear with me tonight. But we needed to do this because the event is coming up on Saturday. And so I wanted to start off. Hold on, let me see how my sound is. Let me see how my sound is. Let's see. I'm using a new platform tonight that I okay, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Not so bad. Not so bad. Okay, okay. So I'm gonna bring my friends on the panel. People I am happy to call my friends. I'm proud. So I'm gonna start with Sister Keisha. Let's see if I can. Oh, look at that.
Hey sis, you hear me good? You hear me loud and clear?
I'm hearing you good. I'm hearing you good. Yes.
That's what's up. Let's get it.
Oh, this is my big sis. I'm gonna do further introductions later because but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna go in the order in which you guys logged on. And then so next week our brother Devine here. Hello, Mr. Devine. He is the are you on? I can't hear you, Devine.
How about now? We loud and clear?
Yes, loud and clear. Loud and clear. Okay. So yes, and he's the president of the U.S. Freedmen Project. And then I got my brother Ted.
Hey. Can you hear me clearly?
Hey, Ted coming through with the sound effects because you know that wasn't me.
Hey, I roll with my own traveling band.
I love it. Thank God. We appreciate
it. What's the word? Peace, Sister Keisha.
Man, the word is always good.
Okay.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Sis, did you hook it up to YouTube?
It's on you. We should be live. Yeah, we're live.
We live.
Yeah, we live.
We live.
We live. I just checked.
I'm okay.
Yes. You're looking great. Looking great. Okay, yeah.
Anything on a Monday night, you know.
I know. This is a special broadcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me try to put up on the Twitter Spaces that we live at least. You know what I mean? Let me put that up.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm sharing as you sharing. Let's get it.
All right, let's put that. Oh, wait, not undo repost. Child, I may have to get my glasses. Okay, we live. All right. So I put that up on the Twitter Spaces. Okay. So I wanted to start off tonight by introducing you guys in my way. Okay. And I'm going to start by a small introduction into you, to I guess like the public, I should say, as many people might know or may not know. There was a nail shop that was racist towards some Black people in Brooklyn, and I didn't like it, and I did something about it, right? Long story short, it's not about me tonight, so I'm not going to go deep into it. Now, at that time, I went through so many things, and I have really good friends. I have friends that are closer to me, like sisters. I don't want to say closer than my sisters because my sisters will beat me up, but they are close to me like sisters, right? They are additional sisters, but they aren't active in the struggle or the fight or this type of things for various different reasons, and this is no slight to them. I understand everybody has their place, and that's just not their place, right? But it is mine, right? And when you do things like shut down a nail shop without any prior knowledge, without any prior relationships, just like you just, for lack of a better term, just raw dogging it. I didn't know what to do. I just was like, yo, I don't like it, I'm mad, but I didn't know anybody. It was a very lonely feeling. I was excited and I was happy that I was able to accomplish my goal, but I was so alone. And I had nobody to talk to, nobody to guide me, nobody to lean on in that way. Like, of course I had my mom and my family or whatever, but I had nobody who had experience in this that I could go to for help. Little did I know, at the very same time when I was battling all of these things, Sister Keisha and Brother Tad were hooking up with the very same people that I was fighting for to protect them. I don't know how our paths never crossed, but they didn't. A lot of I worked at or volunteered at the Rally for Reparations, and see if I could bring up the picture. Let me see what I could do real fast to bring that picture up. But I met a young man. I met a young man, and he put me in touch with Sister Keisha. And that young man is Dr. Randy Short. Dr. Randy Short, thank you, please. Thank you. So I'm trying to find, I was trying to have everything ready, but Lord have mercy, I was having a time back here. So Dr. Randy Short, I met him at the Rally for Reparations, and when I explained to him how I felt and the fact that I didn't know what to do next, he said, let me put you in touch with Sister Keisha. Let me give you her number. So he gives me her number. No, he called her on three-way, because that's how Dr. Short does. He gonna do that introduction on the phone. He calls her on three-way, and we start to talking. And when people just have that spirit where you just, well, I don't know if other people have this, but when I meet certain people, without sounding weird, I just want to be next to them. Keisha has so much knowledge about New York history. I just wanted to sit at her feet and listen to her talk. And I said to her, I was like, would you be my big sister? And she's had me under her wing ever since. And then she introduced me to Brother Tad. And Brother Tad has done the same exact thing and brought me under his wing. Today, I reached out to both of them and I said, I want to do this live because we're going to have this family reunion disaggregation meeting. And we need to really promote for this this family reunion disaggregation meeting. And I would love if you could come. But they were unaware of that. And thank them. So when I texted them and I said, I need you to help me do this thing today, they both, no problem, say less, whatever, I'm there. Brother Tad then texts me and goes, he thought I wanted him, I was asking, I didn't even know I had those kind of rights. He thought I was asking to use his platform, the OG Wisdom Podcast. I didn't know I had those kind of privileges. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is how much and he said to me, my platform is your platform. Let me get the tissue. That kind of love is just amazing. And you guys have heard me talk about Brother Devine before. You've heard me, or President Devine. You've heard me talk about him before and how we met. How I came up to him, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, at the meeting, and I was like, look, the bill is unconstitutional. And he's like, sweetheart, we know. And join us. And we sat outside and talked with me and him and the other ladies of the Freedmen Project, and I no longer feel alone. And I chose the song that I chose on Twitter, that Golden Girl song, because that's how I feel. Thank you for being my friends. We're going to travel down this road, especially this reparations road, this making sure it's constitutional road. We gonna go back and forth and back again, okay? But your hearts are true. And I could ask for no better set of friends to do this work with. And I just wanted to start by saying that publicly, by giving you your flowers right now. And now we can get started.
Thank you, sis.
Thank you. And I just got off the phone with Dr. Short. I said, Brooke is going live. I gotta go. I'm hanging up now.
Shut up.
Dr. Short, another one. I no longer feel alone. And that's a hell of a feeling. And man, whoa, what a difference a few years makes. So we are here to talk about I really wish I had, I really wanted to do a slide. Maybe when we get to start talking, I could kind of do finagle some things behind the scenes. Oh, okay. I can finagle some things behind the scenes when we get to talking. But I also want to shout out all of the members of the Freedmen Project. Devine, can you name them? Because I don't know all their names. But can you name, the members of the Freedmen Project?
Oh my goodness, you're gonna get me in trouble already. Like you just said, we friends. You try to have me list names on the top of my head.
Okay, well, this one, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna see this. What I'll do? Stop. This I'm gonna do. We're gonna talk about what we gotta talk about. Then we're gonna come back and share. I'm gonna try to see if I can get some pictures and everything, on behind the scenes while we chit chatting. Okay, I'm gonna see. So
Okay.
so you guys know why I'm looking down and everything, but I'm still listening. But I'm trying to, do things. So hold off on that, and then you just shout out their names when I put up their pictures.
I could do that.
Okay, all right. So now, so Brother Tad, I want to start with you. Because like I said, we're starting with this delineation, disaggregation meeting that we're having. And you were saying that you were very interested in this topic.
Yes.
So I want to, start the floor with any thoughts you may have.
First, I want to say, sis, it's a pleasure to meet you previously, and Brother Devine, and when I extend the platform, it's like when Sister Keisha and myself met. See, only the real ones are going to be sincere and show up for one another. What I realized, I came into this, for those who don't know me, my name is Brother Tad. I can't even read my resume right now. It's too long. But when I came into this movement in 1997, I came through with Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I met him in the corner store. I was already reading, but I wasn't active. Met Dr. Khalid. He put me onto an active group that actually was the December 12th movement. Truth be told, he put me on the December 12th movement, so I learned what activism was all about. But I was still volunteering with other groups, and I learned the differences between different Black nationalist groups and Pan-African groups. One of the things I've learned in this journey of mine is that a lot of people join the movement for emotionalism, rhetoric, yelling, being angry, blaming folks, blaming the white man, blaming the system, and rightfully so. But I was raised in my village of Brooklyn with accountability. Regardless of what other people are doing, what are you going to do? So in this sojourn, I joined other organizations. I stepped out the movement in the 90s, came back in. I met Sister Keisha, and I'm going to tell you, the world is so small. And this is why it's important to have a good name. Because Sister Keisha recognized me from, I think, a television program I did. And she called me out. Yeah, Community Cop. Shout out to Brother Mike Graves and Noah Alita and the rest of the team over there. And Sister Keisha called me out. She said, brother from the African village, I know you, man, you gonna work together, watch. And sure enough, we started working together. And she said, let me find out you know my whole family on both sides. That's how all Brooklyn is. And one of her cousins is my junior high school homeboy, and another one of her cousins is another childhood. Like so many of Keisha family I already knew. But when me and Sister Keisha linked, it was just like it was just automatic. It was meant to be. And with her, like you said, sitting at her feet, I've learned so much from Sister Keisha. You know what I mean? And in this movement, whatever movement you're going to be a part of, it has to be a certain level of love for what you're doing and the people who are doing the work with you. That's why when you reached out, I thought you wanted to do OG Wisdom. I reached out to Gutter like, yo, we gonna go live tonight.
Oh,
sister, I said,
speaking of which, Gutter could join us.
Oh no, like I text him back that he don't have to join. You know,
Okay.
He's running around. He said, but I'm gonna try to make it. And I say all that to say that when we're sincere about what we're doing, we have to show up for one another. It really can't be considered as an inconvenience because this is quote unquote the work.
Right.
The work. When your comrades reach out to you and you're available, make yourself available. Don't let laziness kick in and say, oh, well, it's Monday night. I got to work tomorrow and I get it. You know what I'm saying? We have to show up. That's something that I've seen with Sister Keisha. I don't know how she do it. Her and our brother King Simon, like they were always working. I admired that. Before I knew them personally, they were always working. And the one thing I would always ask myself, What can I do to move the needle forward? Every day I wake up, what can I do to help move the needle forward? No matter what organization I was a part of. I think yesterday when, I don't know if you saw it yesterday when I was working with the youth group, right? Sister Brooke. In one of the videos, I was showing the young people the family tree. And it's so important because I've always identified as FBA before it was even titled FBA. I'll just be like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn. My mother and my father's first generation New Yorkers. My other grandparents who I knew, except my mother's father, are from the South. My mother's father died when she wasn't even 3 years old yet. She lost her father. But I made it my business to visit the gravesite down in Charleston, South Carolina. But I knew my father's father. I had him till I was like 32 years old. So we had a super dope relationship. So I've always known who my family was, even when I was in the Pan-African movement, Black nationalist movements, all of that. I've always been family centered and village centered. So that's why when my sister Brooke reaches out, it's nothing to pull up. This is who I am. This is what I do. That's why I have a good relationship with Sister Keisha Cousins. They be like, "Oh, what you doing with Tad?" But there's no stud on my name. Most you're gonna hear is I used to be outside in the streets wilding out. Because that's who I am. But if you're part of my village, I'm a warrior for you. Somebody acting stupid, Tad is pulling up. Me and my other warriors, we pulling up and we want to see what the problem is. But we have to take that energy and put it into something productive and move the needle forward for our people is productive. Now, I don't have issues with other Black groups, though they may have issues with us. But as a foundational Black American, I know my culture, I know my heritage, I know my lineage, I know who my grandmother is. I know who my great grandmother is. My great grandmother's phone number was 857-6141. That's when all New York was 212. That's one of the numbers I've learned. My grandfather's number was 789-7783. Those are the first two numbers I've learned. And that was before New York, before Brooklyn was 718. That's how far back I go. And that's the connection that I had with my elders, with my grandfather and my great grandmother. But I can tell you who my great grandmother's grandmother was. And this is important when we talk about who we are. So when you brought up disaggregation, disaggregation, that's a word I'm not familiar with. So I said, this would be dope to talk about because I had to look up the word. I'm like, oh, okay. We're going to start pinpointing things and going through the data and dispelling myths because sure enough, as I'm FBA, my Pan-African brothers and sisters was upset with me. Well, how you going to I was like, bro, I'm not from Jamaica. I'm not from Guyana.
Come on.
Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn George Hospital. I've always told people I'm from Brooklyn. That's it. I don't care what you say. My roots is in Brooklyn. My grandparents are from the South. In fact, I'm going to share a quick story, then I'm going to pass the mic. I don't want to be too long-winded. When my grandfather died in 2005, we all went down to, he was living in North Carolina when he passed, but he was buried in South Carolina. And it was boring in South Carolina. Let me tell you, we was in Little Mount. My grandfather's from a small town called Little Mount. Used to be called Prosper. My grandmother from the next town over called Newberry. When we were down there, my sister, my cousins, everybody's complaining how boring it is. Wasn't no Wi-Fi. But I seen the little girl and my grandmother when we was in those towns because she remembered the juke joints. They were still there. They weren't developed like New York is. It still looked like when she was a child. And I told my cousins and my sister, I said, I know y'all want to get out of here. I said, but think about this. After this, we may never come back to this town, but we can honestly say we've been to the hometowns of our grandparents. A lot of people can't say that. But then after my grandfather's funeral, he was buried in a family cemetery that was segregated because, of course, he had his plot for years now, where he's buried next to his parents and grandparents. And I said, how often do we think about Pops? We call them Pop. How often do we think about Pop's parents, our great-grandparents, and our grandfather's grandparents, which is our great-great-grandparents? I said, this is our history. This is our legacy. I said, look how excited grandma is just to be home because she'd been in New York for so long. I said, this is history. Now, mind you, I said 2005. That was 20 years ago. We ain't been back yet. And I said, I'm going to go back down there, just to visit his gravesite and talk with the relatives that are there. But when we talk about the data, when we talk about these things, most of the people have an eponymous identity. Eponymous identity is when you name yourself after someone or something. So people will read the book and say, yo, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Or they'll say, I'm a Rastafarian. Because as a kid, I didn't know Rastafari was the name of somebody. Emperor Haile Selassie. So you named yourself after another man. What is your identity? Because one thing I don't want people to ever do is minimize your personal life experiences and the things that your parents and grandparents taught you if you were fortunate enough to have these people in your life. That is, I had a debate with a rapper one time. He used to be God body, and then he turned to a Hebrew Israelite. They tried to tell me I was a Hebrew Israelite. I said, how am I Hebrew Israelite? My parents didn't identify, my grandparents, my great-grandparents. What are you talking about? And he kept trying to tell me this argument that I wasn't buying. I said, all right, let's say we all are Hebrew Israelites. Say all black people become Hebrew Israelites. Now what do? We wait for the Most High, Yahweh Shah, whatever, to come back and free us. I said, see, I'm good. Because everybody wants to wait on other people. And one thing about FBA is we stand on our lineage. We dealing with reality. We're not dealing with mysticism, spookism, ancient history. We dealing with what we can prove, what we know to be true. Everybody has parents and grandparents. And what it is, I've realized, is a lot of people are jealous of Black Americans. Not just because we the trendsetters and we set all the fly stuff in motion, but check the fly part, right, Brother Devine? Berlin Conference of 1884 divided Africa up and gave it all of its borders and countries, right?
Right.
1865, we was already off the plantations. So we've been free longer than African countries have been countries themselves. Named after Cecil Rhodes. All of these places are not the original names. These are European names. So when somebody tell me they from Ghana, they from Nigeria, are you really? Or is that a European imposed territory on you? Just as Liberia and South Africa. But then you ask them, hey, who's your great grandmother? And who's your great grandmother's grandmother? See, what they may give you is a village myth in history. Because when I was in Ghana, I promise you, a chief of the village said that they were Hebrew Israelites and they marched from Israel. I was like, oh my God, they got him too. I promise you. I promise you. So we deal with reality. We go back centuries. And then, of course, what I hit the Pan-Africans with is I studied all that stuff. So we can go to Dr. Clark, one of the premier scholars, who wrote and they came before Columbus. No, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, my bad. And Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, where he was citing Bishop Bartolome de las Casas, who rode with Columbus and talked about Black folks that they saw when they came here. And then you got They Came Before Columbus by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, who talk about Black folks in the Americas prior to Europeans. And then Dr. David Imhotep's book, The First Americans Were Africans. But here's the caveat, right? In this paradigm of Eurocentric thinking, they made everything Black African.
Right. That's
everything
right.
Black is African. They never acknowledged the migration of people who may have came out of Africa, because coming from Africa is actually a theory. It's called the out of Africa theory. What's a theory? An idea, a thought, something that hasn't really been proven yet. See, God bodies call themselves the Asiatic Black man because there was at one point where folks thought that all life came out of Asia. And then they dug deeper. Dr. Leakey dug a little deeper, found Dinknish, who's known as Scientific Eve, or they also call Lucy. But as Sister Keisha just put me on, because I'm always learning from Sister Keisha, learned this year, that one of the oldest DNA strands that's recorded right now is actually of a Black American man, a foundational Black American, predating DNA of Africans on the continent. So, of course, we're always learning things. We're always unfolding. Like, new information is always unfolding, Brother Devine. You remember me and Sister Keisha was talking about, we're not that old to where we get new information and we can't pivot. If we realize we go the wrong way, we got to bust a U-turn or something, or at least make a left or a right. But we got to get it right. And a lot of people, and understandably so, right? they invested so much of their time, energy, and effort into this idea and ideology, they're afraid to abandon it now that we got new information. So that's the classic definition of cognitive dissonance, because you can't even prove that you're from a specific place, and you'll reject and deny your own bloodline to accept somebody else's foreign ideas of who you're supposed to be. And with that, I'm gonna step off my soapbox.
Wow. You when you right, you but he got the button over there. Hit the button for yourself, please. Thank you. So you made me think, you reminded me of something that I wanted to do, because I wanted to introduce, I didn't do a good job of introducing you guys' backgrounds, right? But I don't feel that I can do it justice. I would like to ask you like some questions about like your backgrounds. The first thing for both of you guys, like, what was the name of the organization that both of you were a part of, where you did where you brought all of the scholars and that we have seen on YouTube? What was the name of that organization?
The name of that organization was the United African Movement, or UAM for short.
So I've heard you say, Sister Keisha, that when you came into this organization, it wasn't something that you started, but how did you get into the organization and get into the position that you were in?
Okay, well, right after the murder of Yusuf Hawkins.
What year was that?
Now you put me on the spot now. It was in that...
Or around.
I think it was
I just want
89.
people to know how long you've been in the game. That's my point right here. So
I'm sorry. I think about 89.
89. Okay.
Yeah.
What was y'all doing in 89? Please continue.
That and the kidnapping and rape of Tawana Brawley is what brought me to UAM. When Tawana Brawley was kidnapped and sexually assaulted by wealthy white men in Wappingers Falls, New York, I was just leaving high school. And, my mother was very communal. And so there was a couple who lived in the building we lived in, and the husband was security for UAM, and his wife worked at nights. And so they trusted my mother to babysit their son. And so I would sit tenant patrol in the building that I lived in. Tenant patrol were people who patrolled the buildings, pretty much watch who was coming in and out. You got to remember, this was during the crack era. And so we pretty much secured our own dwellings. But anyway, so he would often bring me these programs from UAM. And one day I asked my mother, I said, Ma, I'm not going to sit tenant patrol. I know it's going to be late when I get in here, but I'm going to go to UAM and I'll be with Mr. Muhammad. So my mother said she didn't care because she knew who Mr. Muhammad was. So anyway, the first time I went, it was because Sister Soldier was going to be there talking about both cases. And when I got there, the program was supposed to start at 7. I got there about maybe 10 after 7 and I couldn't get in. It was that packed. And so I saw Mr. Muhammad and he brought me right up to the front, and I sat up front and I listened and conversed with her and other people afterward. And then I started to come back. So that when I went home that night, I got home maybe about 2:30 in the morning. So my mom said, "You was at that meeting at 2:30 in the morning?" I said, "Ma, the meeting continued outside." Right? Because outside, after the program was over, you had Dr. Clark and Bobby Hemming and all of them. I mean, excuse me, not Dr. Clark. Amos Wilson, Bobby Hemming, Abdul Muhammad. They were all outside talking. And so, people were outside selling food. And But I tell you, every Wednesday night on the corner of Bedford and Fulton, you couldn't walk up the street. And this was every Wednesday. So every week, UAN would bring in these great scholars, whether it was Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Shashi McIntyre, Dr. Jeffries, Kaba Khamenei, Professor Smalls, all of them, every week in rotation. And they did this for about 27 years. And it was free to the public.
27 years?
Straight.
Okay.
Not only did they do that,
Emmett Till's mother.
yes, with Emmett Till's mother, when Mamie Till came up, I was asked if I would be part of her security detail. And so I said, yeah, of course. So anyway, I did that, and then other people would come in, like Mabel Williams. I was a part of her security detail. Whenever Tawana came back to New York, I was her security detail.
Hold on, wait,
and so
because you went over that name really fast. Wait. Hold on. You went over that name really fast. Explain to the people who Miss Mabel Williams is. Thank you.
Mabel Williams was the wife of Robert F. Williams. He was the chairman of the NAACP. Yes, of the NAACP in Monroe, North Carolina. And he taught his community how to arm and protect themselves. He was such a bad dude that he and his family had to leave the U.S.
Right,
and live in Cuba. And then they went from Cuba to China. And then China back to Cuba, and then eventually coming back to the U.S. They had their own radio program called Radio Free Dixie, where they would talk about the lynchings and things that were going on in the South. So later on, many years later, Mrs. Williams would, do lectures, if you will, coming into New York. And when she came to UAM, I was her security detail. But the brilliant thing about that is that, the founders of that organization put so much trust in me as a youngin' back then, and then outside of doing security, and I did a couple of security movie premieres. And anyway, just going to the forums, and also they just didn't have these weekly forums. They had a sleepaway summer camp for boys and girls that was Black led, Black financed, and on Black property. It was held at the Peg Leg Bates ranch in upstate New York. Now, if you know the history of Peg Leg Bates, you know that this man was a phenomenal dancer who lost his leg in an accident working at an auto plant. But he opened this ranch in upstate New York, Cahonkson, New York, to be exact. And he would allow celebrities who couldn't get hotel access in New York when they come to perform to stay. And so you would have people like Nat King Cole, who would come up there, Lena Horne, you name it, they was up there. And so the property was then sold to a Barbadian woman, to be exact, Sister Doreen, who allowed us to use her property so that we can host children every summer. And this is what I'm talking about, the work we need from the diaspora. So meeting Miss Doreen, we developed a rapport. And I would always get up early in the mornings because my class was like 8 o'clock. And so I would get up early and, talk with her and walk with her. That's 67 acres of property that woman maintained by herself. And so she was thrilled whenever we came up to use the property every summer. And unfortunately, during Hurricane Sandy, she lost her life. She was beheaded by a branch on the property during that storm. And so always peace be upon Miss Doreen. We need more Barbadians with that kind of courage to work with us in tandem But anyway, so we had this sleepaway summer camp every summer, but it was a summer camp that never before. You had children who were studying Egyptian mathematics, criminal law, business law. They learned computer science, earth science, agricultural science. There were classes that were going on all throughout the day. Not only that, but they were able to ride horses and, skating rings, county fairs, you name it, they did it. Double Dutch professionals came up, and, we took the boys to West Point, showed some how to use firearms and bow and arrows and things of that nature. But anyway, this camp was like no other. When I tell you that children from all over the world attended every summer, Bermuda, South Africa, Grenada, here in the States, from down south to up north, children from all over attended. And I can tell you, and I promise you, that if you ever ask anyone who volunteered up there, when we brought those children back, because it was 2 weeks for boys and then 2 weeks for girls. So the boys would get the first 2 weeks in July, the girls would get the second two weeks in July. They were never co-ed. When we brought those children back, they boo-hoo cried. No one, and I mean no one, wanted to come home. And I tell you, these classes were rigorous. It was not no flappity flap. In fact, Professor Kaba wrote the curriculum, except for law. Law was taught by automatics. And when I tell you,
pause.
Go ahead.
Sometimes y'all be just doing that. Y'all be doing that. And I had to put the speed bump in there. You had law classes taught by the automatics.
Absolutely. And he was very serious about his classes, let me tell you. And so the children knew that. And so he would give them about 3 cases to study. Some children, he had mock courtrooms. Some would be jurors, some would be prosecutors, defense attorneys, judges, and the like. But it ran like a normal courtroom. But anyway, the children, I never seen children stay up to 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning studying law brief. They were so excited. The way he taught law to these children, for example, with the boys, he used basketball to teach them law. And his class for the boys took place on the court. So we would set up desks and chairs for, judges and so on and so forth. But I tell you, it was one of the most popular classes that we had up there. But anyway, like I said, my first summer up there volunteering was because my daughter was attending, and I'm a parent. And I don't care how conscious folks is, I got to be protective of my daughter. So I volunteered while she was up there. She was mad. She was like, "Oh, Ma, don't go." But anyway, when I got up there, she saw how everyone gravitated towards me. And the next summer, by the time the next summer came, Mrs. Maddox turned over the keys and the program completely over to me because she was so impressed by my work up there with those girls. I worked for the girls portion. And she said she never saw a young lady so enthused in all the years that she had that sleepaway. And she said, "I don't know what you're talking about in that classroom, but when I see 15 and 16-year-olds running to the bathroom and running back because they don't want to miss it, you got something."
I believe that.
And so we had a good time. It was a lot of work. Like I said, after that summer, I became assistant director for about 8 years straight, giving her
the summer camp.
Yes, she was. Her job after I took over was just write the checks.
in addition to working at the UAM.
Correct. I still was
that was clear.
The MC. Actually, I was elected to be the MC of those forums. They had an MC prior to me, but sometimes, and she's a great professor. She actually teaches she's retired at York College in Queens, Professor Anderson. But anyway, some people have knowledge, but they don't have the gift of verbiage and know how to captivate an audience and keep that audience contained and focused on what it is that you're talking about. And so the men of that organization went to Mrs. Maddox and asked her to ask me to take over as MC. And they knew if she asked me, I wouldn't say no. But just being an MC was very strenuous because I had to hold the attention of the audience until Dr. Baruti came or whoever came. So one day, and this was like a year into me volunteering, in that position, and Alton came and he said, for the first time, I'm comfortable that I don't have to be here every week, and Keisha got it. And so he asked that we set up this organization to run exactly like a Fortune 500 company. And I come from a corporate background. And so I had split up the three entities. You had the Freedom Retreat for boys and girls. You had the UAM forums, which were political forums every Wednesday night. And then on you had the Freedom Party, because the United African Movement also formed their own political party back in 99 to be exact. That's a lot under one umbrella. And on top of that, Alton was fighting to get his law license back because he was illegally disbarred for the practice of law after he represented successfully Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton is free walking the streets because of Alton Maddox, but he would never tell you that. Alton was a legal tactician. The great William Kunstler, the Jewish lawyer, he said he is not even fit to hold Alton's briefcase. That's how in awe he was of him. He was masterful in a courtroom. If you've ever seen it, he always, no matter what the case was, put history on trial. And with history, as Malcolm says, it's best to reward all research. You cannot deny it. I've seen them fight court officers in a courtroom. Alton got into a situation, and the great Chokwe Lumumba had to represent Alton at that critical time. The reason why all of you can have a Black organization now and not invite white people is because the United African Movement was sued by the New York Post because one of its reporters wanted to enter one of our forums. And when we said Black only, we meant Black only. And so the New York Post and its writer, Manu Southgate, sued us, and we won. And so you all now can meet with each other without interference of white folks because we made it so. So again, we were enthralled in a lot of cases, including the Central Park case, right? Alton's client, Michael Briscoe, was the only one who went home. The rest of them went and did time. But Alton went back and tried to save Raymond Santana. But he was told by the Puerto Rican community, nah, Bobby, we got this. We got this, Bobby. We don't need it. But all of them went behind bars. All of them. But, nobody ever talks about Michael Briscoe. And it was very quick. One of the things that I want y'all to know is that if you were ever convicted of a criminal offense, you have a right to immediate, speedy trial. The burden of proof is never on you. It is on the prosecution. And Alton knew that. And so Alton said, I don't want any discovery. I don't want nothing. Give me my 12 in the box right now. 12 in the box right now. And they were trying to stall. And so Michael Briscoe was sent home. Now, if only the rest of those young men's parents listened to Alton. Now, another thing is that, in the beginning, those young boys were released on bail. Nobody ever talks about who raised that bail money for them. It was the United African Movement. You didn't see that in the documentary. And so a lot of things that we were in the trenches with, people just don't know about it. And it's done purposefully because we live in a democratic city. The Democrat Party is a criminal operation. I think I've proved it many times on Thorough Black Talk. It is a criminal enterprise. And so they really came at us heavy. Where people were threatened, even in Crown Heights, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke has Congresswoman Jamaican Yvette Clarke has that seat because the United African Movement made it so. She was running against a Jewish man by the name of Yansky, and nobody wanted him in that seat. And so we had the Stop the Yansky campaign that went throughout the city to stop people from voting for him. And so that is how she got that seat.
So hold on. We're not gonna breeze past that one. Oh no, Sister Keisha. So the same Yvette Clarke who's sitting there talking about how she need more people in her district, and that's why we should keep allowing these illegals to come and suck the blood from the state. That same Yvette Clarke. So you mean to tell me that she don't have the votes of those same illegals that she trying to help? That's not the votes that voted her in?
She didn't have the votes of her community back then. Because we ran that Stop the Yansky campaign, it brought attention to her. And we told them, don't vote for him, vote for her. This is your community. Why would you vote for him? You know what I mean? Because you have to remember at that time, and we're talking about 2010, you're talking about around that time. But you're talking about a community that, excuse me, I think 7 or 8 years prior had the Crown Heights riots, right? Because of the Korean grocer and what happened in Crown Heights. That came right off of that. In fact, that case, that whole thing was crazy. We saw the Hasidic community run up in the mayor's office at the time. Excuse me. David Dinkins was the mayor. The Hasidic, the security and cops was outside, but they couldn't stop the rush of the Hasidics. They literally ripped the towels up off the floor. They took the files out of his office. But these things you would never hear about. You see what I'm saying? And so UAM was in the trenches of a lot of things.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I just want the audience to understand, like, this right here is why I was like, can I just sit at your feet? You see how she running this down? She just ran down like 20 years of New York politics that she was involved in. Not I got knowledge of, or I read articles, or, my parents did, or no, she just talked about from 89 to present. Or not even present. We're not up to present yet. We had David Dinkins. I'm still a little kid, okay? Okay, I just so I know it might have sounded weird when I said that. I feel like maybe the Christians, would understand that term to say you want to sit at someone's feet and learn at their feet. You know what I mean? But when I heard this type of scholarship, I just wanted to hear more. And I'm going to stop so we can hear more. Go ahead. So you said that the Jews God, let me let's go. Let's do Dr. Short's thing. God's
I
chosen
think,
people ripped
yeah,
up the tile on the flow in Gracie Mansion.
yeah, to force David Dinkins to stand with them, and he did just that. It was very, very. Oh, and also you had black
Wait, hold
student
on.
unions.
Before you move, before you move.
God.
I just wanted to make the comparison of our two. Well, there's a third, but he don't really care. I never really think about him. I was like, wait, there was another black. No, the black governor. He was the governor. He was the governor for like 2 seconds. 2 seconds. But yeah. So our two black mayors. I just wanted. Matter of fact, I'm not going to talk about the comparison of the two black mayors. I'm going to ask someone who has way more knowledge than me to talk about the comparison of our two black mayors.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had two black mayors. We had no. Patterson was governor, but he
Hmm.
wasn't the first black governor. The first one was Carl McCall.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that.
oh yes, Carl McCall was first. And we had our run-ins with him as well. I could write a book on that alone. But yes. So anyway, you had also at that time black student unions who were across CUNY and SUNY campuses in New York, were taking over the campuses because of the rise in tuition. They literally locked out the staff and the presidents of these universities. Now, at the
Mm.
time, I was attending John Jay Criminal College in Manhattan, and the Black Student Union took over the campus. But they also had a child care center on the ground floor of the college for parents who needed child care. And the police, because we had the doors barricaded, we let the students out, those who wanted to leave, staff who wanted to leave. If you stayed in past the time that the student union told you to get out, you were locked in. And
Mm.
so, the police came. David Dinkins stood outside with a bullhorn, telling the kids to get out and telling the police to take action. Well,
Mm.
they took action and they bust through the glass doors. Now, mind you, there was children when you first come in, who were waiting for their parents to pick them up. Glass was shattered all over the place. And so a white female police officer, well, she looked white. She could have been Spanish. I don't know. Pale skin to me. But anyway, she came in and she swung her stick at me. Well, I blocked with my arm, and right next to me was, remember we had the telephones on the
Mm-hmm.
wall. I took the telephone and clocked her with it, or whatever. And so everybody was fighting and tussling. But anyway, some of us got arrested, some of us got away. I will save that for another day. But anyway, it was that type of atmosphere. So again, black kids, black Americans taking over student unions. You had
Mm-hmm.
racially profiled cases that were going on all throughout the state of New York. And so, and very key elections that were happening. And so United African Movement pretty much was in the thick of all of it. Some of your leaders today, I remember Alton helped represent Charles Barron at one time. So, a lot of people was getting hit. In fact, all of those attorneys from the Central Park jogger case were illegally disbarred. This is what
Wow.
you take on white supremacy in this country. You better be prepared that you may lose a lot.
Okay,
And
hold on. Pause right there.
Mhm.
That is a very important fact to know because we call for black lawyers all the time and it just seems like all we get is Ambulance chasers. I'll just leave it there. I won't say no names, but I'll just say ambulance chasers. Okay.
Silver. We in UAM, we used to call them silver rights activists or silver
Okay.
rights.
Because they take that 30 pieces.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our name for them. In fact, when you hear people today protesting, let me give y'all some history. When you hear people say no justice, no peace, that came from automatics. Nobody was saying that before. You can't find nobody saying that before.
Wow.
He started saying that. And he made it a part of every weekly forum and tapped into a lot of them, so he knows. Every weekly forum also went in with no justice, no peace.
Wow.
And so that's what I'm saying. A lot of people,
because that's the protest song around the world, or chant around the world. Like there is no protest without no justice, no peace.
That came from automatics and UAM
and foundational Black Americans.
Period. Period. If, even moving ahead a bit, if you want to look at
wait, hold on. Before you move ahead, I just wanted to point out, when we ask about the lawyers and where they at, could this be the reason why we don't have none? Because the good ones got disbarred.
This is a fact. There were two great attorneys here in New York. One was Alton Maddox and the other was Lewis Clayton Jones. Lewis Clayton Jones suffered something terrible. He even went to France to live for a while, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And that's what we need today. We do not have a legal chess to fight these days. When everybody else, you can't do nothing without legal representation. And you don't have warrior attorneys like Chokwe Lumumba, like a Johnny Cochran or Alton Maddox and Lewis Clayton Jones. They don't exist anymore. Everybody is looking for what they can get, and they know that. And so that's why during those critical times in the late 80s, early 90s, both political parties made it their business to destroy the United African Movement because we were that powerful.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Both political parties, including the Democrats?
They was number one.
Democrats trying to stop Black progress.
Let me tell you, true story. True story. When Governor Patterson was outed for these frivolous things of getting Yankee tickets or cheating on his wife, it ain't none of my damn business. That's him and her business. But anyway,
okay.
I don't care. It ain't my damn husband, so I don't care. But anyway, that came from the top, meaning the Democratic National Convention wanted Andrew Cuomo as governor of the state of New York. And so there was a meeting with Andrew Cuomo and some of the Democrat convention elites. They called together what you would say Black leaders, Al Sharpton, a whole bunch of them. They all had a meeting at Sylvia's restaurant to get David Patterson out of office. Well, 100 Blacks in law enforcement who care. Go ahead.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Because you be saying stuff so fast. You say stuff so fast sometimes. So name those people again and where they were.
Oh, you're talking about at Sylvia's restaurant. There was your Al Sharpton's. And matter of fact, he's the one who called the meeting. All these Black clergy and selected Black leaders. But 100 Blacks in law enforcement who care got wind of it. And they interceded, in particularly Noel Leader and Mike Graves. They stepped in and said, nah, you ain't gonna do this. And so they went to Patterson and let him know what was happening at Sylvia and let him know that he was going to be stepping down or what have you. And they asked David Patterson for three things. Let me see if I remember them correctly. One was to get Alton Maddox's license back. Two was to release John White from prison John White was tried and convicted of unaliving an Italian teenager who came to his house with an army to sexually assault his wife and unalive his 2 sons. And so when they pulled up to John White,
Hold on. Where was that?
that was in Long Island, New York. Oh man, I can't remember the town. Ugh. It'll come to me.
So wait, what year was this?
I would have to look up because I'm running it off.
Roundabout. Yeah,
It was in the 2000s. It was in the 2000s.
In the 2000s. Man, I don't remember this. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Like, they be burying stuff to make sure you don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. I don't remember this case at all.
If you heard some of the details, it might jog you.
Maybe.
Yeah. The went to a party and the white kids didn't want her there. They threatened him with violence. But once he went home, they came to his house. He went home and went to bed.
Yep.
But they came to his house making noise, as Sister Keisha said, they threatened to assault his wife and kill his son.
Maybe I just didn't know that detail.
Yeah.
And things, wow. And then that was not seen as him defending his wife and child was not, of course not, because we're Black. Go ahead, keep going. Wait,
it was
okay, there we go.
It was in 2010. It was in 2010.
Okay.
And you had skinheads and all of them who would surround this man's house, and he had the great protection of the 100 Blacks in law enforcement who care, along with the Nation of Islam and some other brothers.
Sis, let's not forget the father did make a threat too. So let's
in the courtroom.
During the press conference, cameras was on him and everything. So let's see how he feel when this happens to his son. Like, whoa.
You saw Alton, and 100 Blacks in law enforcement who care, they wanted to pack the courtroom with as many able-bodied Black people. When I mean able-bodied, I don't mean people who are just upright, those who can put in work with their hands and feet and whatever else. Because on the other side of the courtroom was nothing but white supremacists, skinheads, and the like. It was so bad that they had to let us in the courtroom and then let them in, and when it was coming out, let them out first, so we come out. It was that bad in the courtroom. And let's not fool ourselves. New York is one of the most racist states in the union. People believe otherwise.
They want to believe otherwise.
Yeah, they want to. But it's very, very racist, especially in courtrooms. And Alton made it his business to give us every week and every Saturday. We would have 5-6 hour classes with Alton at City College or at the Cotton Club in Harlem, just learning law, because he knew that, it would come a time where you may have to defend yourself pro se because you don't have attorneys who are adequate in that arena. And let me tell you how great his teachings were. We used to have a street vendor who was a member of UAM, Tyrone. And Tyrone used to always get harassed by the police downtown Brooklyn. Most street vendors do. Mm-hmm. And every time, he would get citations or summonses, he'd take it to court. And Tyrone would win every case. Every case. Based on the information that he received from Alton. And so one time they had really messed with him, and he asked the members to attend with him to court. And we all in the back of the courtroom, and we sitting and watching, and Tyrone is tactfully knocking down all the points that the prosecution made. In fact, Tyrone was able to cite to the judge that, in fact, The citation he was given was the wrong citation. He should not have been given it. It was a mistake on the prosecution. And the judge got so furious and went off on the prosecutor in the courtroom. So, we were honored and blessed to receive a legal education like never before. He also gave us a brilliant education on how to use history as a as a prosecutorial offense. So whatever the prosecution throws your way, you must know history. History on the stand, nothing else. He never asked his clients if they did it or not. He never asked his clients if they were guilty or innocent. He didn't want to know. He didn't want to know. He put history on the stand and won every case. So again, that's why I tell our people all the time, know your history. Know the history of the cities and states that you live in, because it can make you a tactical, brilliant, not only researcher and archivist, but an attorney. And so we all became mini automatics by attending UAM. And so, a lot of people got to see our weekly forums, but not too many went to our Saturday classes. That's for serious folks. Away with packets this big, law brief and everything. And I still have them. And so I refer to them all the time. That's why I can speak confidently on everything, on every point, because I only use history. I don't care what you say. What is the history of what you're talking about? If I know the history of what you're talking about, I will destroy you. And so, I am thankful for that. Thank you for that experience. Being with the UAM put me in a position with some of the greatest master teachers on this planet. Also, I have to say this, that the United African Movement was the organization that garnered the petitions so that the Central Park survivors could receive reparations from the city. We did that.
And when was that?
That was about the same time, 2010, between 2010 and 2012. A man by the name of James Paddock out of Harlem. Anybody know Champ out of Harlem? Well known. OG. He led the petition teams in the streets because everybody knew Champ. And so we also went across down to South Carolina to the Gullah Festival to gain a support for these young brothers. So I wasn't supposed to speak. It was supposed to be Mike Graves, to be exact. But Mike and Harold wanted to go book shopping. It's a special place in South Carolina. We go for our books. And they were going. They didn't care. So I was asked to speak on his behalf, and I did. And the Central Park survivors received the support of 250,000 people who were at the Gullah Festival, thanks to the United African Movement. And these are stories that you will never hear. Never hear.
And that is why I wanted to just take a little time to go into, because we spoke about your history, but we didn't really go into it. And so I wanted other people to understand who you guys are and why I revere you so much. Right. And so this is like the perfect segue into now the next conversation about delineation, right?
Before you do that, sis, let me say one thing.
Of course. What you got?
Everything come full circle. How we met, how you introduced me to Brother Devine and the Sisters of the Freedmen's Project. Everything full circle. Before Alton transition, before Chokwe Lumumba transition, before Johnny Cochran transition, those three spoke about getting reparation for us. It was those three. And they dropped one by one.
Wow. And wow, that hit me different because it hit me because I instantly thought about what you said when I first met you. I'm tired. You said I'm I was like, gung ho about it. I'm always coming bright eyed and bushy tailed. And I'm coming bright eyed and bushy tailed. And she was just like, all them people, they all, all of them is compromised. Everybody compromised. I'm done. I'm tired. And I was like, I could hear that, yes, sis was tired, but she ain't done. And I keep saying that. Her soul can't, we, all four of us right here, we are different people. We are people who our soul forces us to do this work. It's not a choice. It's not even something that you can stop. You can't stop. You want to stop. You say you get mad. Some happens. Somebody piss you off. You get mad. You be like, yo, I'm done. I ain't never doing nothing no more. And you be like, then you see somebody say something in a way that you feel is misrepresenting the cause, the fight, the movement, whatever. And you like, nah, fuck that. Put me back in, coach. I'm back in the game. I got to get back in the game, And like I said, I'm ecstatic to be surrounded with you guys. Like, man. So now I got those pictures ready. So before we get up, these reparations hearings have been like a family reunion, right? Brother Devine, or I like to call you President Devine because I like to give you your just due. So President Devine, thank you. Shout out to the president. So President Devine, I just like chime in a little bit about like how we've been like, it's just like been a meetup. Like every time we go to these hearings, it's like a meetup. You know what I mean? And I want to hear your thoughts on what that has been like for you, because we remember when it wasn't a meetup, when it was just us. When it was just like 3 or 4 of us at these meetings, you know what I'm saying? So now it has become a legit family reunion. And I just wanted to go into a little bit about what that's like, so we could get like other people to join the family reunion that we've been having.
So, can I be heard okay?
Yeah, but it's like you're lagging. Does anybody else see him lagging?
Yeah, like a karate movie.
Like your video.
No,
but we can hear you.
I've been lagging this whole time, so I don't know if it's me, if I should leave and come back in and see. But yeah, I've been like on delay this whole time.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think I did it. Let's just
No,
make sure.
Should I try to leave and come back?
Okay.
We can hear you.
We'll try real quick. Yeah, I mean, you could try real quick because I know it's really hard for watchers when it's a little delayed.
All right, hold on. Let me step out.
Let's just try.
All right.
Real quick.
Your nexus, because we grew up on karate movies.
Well, that's what it looks like. Hey,
hey, you back. Wait. Maybe you should leave it. It looked like it was going good for a second.
Nah, I think I'm still delayed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe because he was talking about the karate, it like synced up for a second. Oh boy, now I got to get back in the camera. Okay, let me kind of move over. Okay. So I wanted to go through the pictures, but I'll wait for him to get back. But when you run down the history, oh my gosh, I just be like in shock that like in high school I wasn't thinking. I mean, I had the foresight to be like, I never liked Backstreet Boys. I didn't like Friends. I always thought, Backstreet Boys was a ripoff of New Edition. I felt like Friends was a ripoff of Living Single. So I always had that frame of mind.
Jacksons.
Huh?
The Osmonds were the ripoff of the Jacksons. It might be before.
Yes, yeah, you going a little before me, but yes, I do agree. Yes, I'm aware. But so like I was aware of these things, but I didn't even know all of these things was happening, at that time. It's like, so me coming into I guess like the conscious movement or empowerment. I like to say black empowerment movement is a lot later, you know what I mean? And a lot of the one thing you didn't necessarily say, it was a certain brand of videos that are on YouTube that you said that you guys, and what was that?
If you see any lectures, whether it's Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, whomever, TAP Productions.
That's it.
Yeah,
I know.
At the forum.
I watched so many. Well, I called it TAP because I didn't know it was TAP. I just called it TAP. I watched so many TAP videos. And because for my work, it's easier for me to listen to books or listen to lectures because I can do that and then other things that I'm doing, right? So that was the easiest way for me to get a lot of knowledge really quickly, you know what I mean? And there was so many lectures, and I know I'm not alone, that I didn't even know I was being fed by y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, more Christian terminology. But I didn't know that was happening, and I was talking to President Devine the other day, and I was saying that, we're watching The Godfather of Harlem. I hope you guys are watching too, right? The Godfather of Harlem. Have you guys watched any of the episodes?
I haven't watched it lately.
Got to.
What season?
I gotta check up too. Oh man, right now I'm watching. Right now
they going places I didn't think they was going. Go ahead, what you watching?
Hurricane Katrina.
And right, you just sent me that today. Yeah. Is that the new one?
Yes.
Okay. I've seen other ones, but I'm gonna be watching that. I'll probably start that tonight. Mm-hmm. So Brother Devine ain't come back yet. Maybe I shouldn't have told him to leave. Sorry, my inside thoughts coming out. So we were talking, and because we were talking about this show, and they're going places where I didn't think they were gonna go. I'm just really shocked that that's the place where they went. Back. And so what I was telling him was, you guys are making history now. Because when you're watching the show and Mamie Johnson is moving and shaking, and you watching James Baldwin moving and shaking, and you watching Bumpy Johnson moving and shaking, you watching Frank Lucas moving and shaking, you watching Malcolm X moving and shaking, you watching Adam Clayton Powell moving and shaking, you watching, all of these people like just living their everyday lives, doing the best that they can, because that's they're showing it in context, dude, that they didn't know at the time they was making history. They didn't know. And I'm proud to be sitting with people who I know are making history. These three people that I'm on the panel, you are living history right now. I don't know if you know, but if you didn't know, God sent me to tell you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I think Sister Keisha can attest. I always talk that. We making history right now.
Right now.
We always making, you know, and that's why I said I don't never want anyone to minimize their own experiences, because one thing I learned about this movement, not the FBA movement, but you know, the Pan African Black Nationalist movement, is folks live vicariously through our icons, and as opposed to having their own thought processes dealing with the current situations we dealing with now, they always want to go back to ancient times, the days of yesterday. In fact, somebody posted made a post on Facebook the other day and talking about FBA and stuff. It said Malcolm was a Pan African. What would Malcolm say if he was here today? And you know, we say if Malcolm was here today, he'd be 100 years old, and he probably tell y'all fools. You know, there's so much.
He would have been had something to say.
There's so much value in everybody's own personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be the miner in your life to find those diamonds, find those jewels, those experiences that you may have hated, that you had to deal with, or may have thought you might not have gotten through. Those are the things our ancestors were made of. That resilience that we all have, not just me, not just you, not just Sister Keisha, not just President Devine, all of us inherently have that spark that moves us forward, you know, and so many people minimize that to idol worship other people. And they turn this honorable movement to working in the best interest of our people, they turn it into cults. And then once you start that, everything you do loses value because you're waiting on instructions from one person. And we see what happens when a person gets a certain level of power. We could look at Dr. Umar right now, and we could see, remembering when he came in humble, honest, wanting to do right by the community. But once he got that fanfare, what happens, sis?
No, I was off camera because I was turning off my AC. I got chilly. So, but I had to get on camera and publicly laugh at you talking about this subject. Keep going.
Yeah, you know, but within this movement, you know, and you got people in the Pan-African movement saying Tariq Nasheed is our leader. And I'm like, Tariq Nasheed is not my leader because he's not even related to me that I know of. This is lineage based. This is about bloodline. This is about what you can prove. This is not about no ideology. This is about who you inherently are, what your DNA tells you you are, what your mama, daddy, grandma, grandpa told you you are. And this is what gives value to this. But I always implore the people, because it's always people power. Can't no leader be in position if people don't put them in position. Not no politician, not no community activist, not no cultural icon. You have to have the support of the people to get this position. But I want our people to practice a level of discernment. We got to really vet people and make sure they have our best interest. Because if a person want to be in leadership, but they don't have a council, if they don't have a group of people that can literally challenge them, you have to question their leadership. Because, you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we got to be mindful of that. I just had to put that there because as Sister Brooke talks about us making history and being history makers, we all are. The people in the chat, the people watching on the playback, we all have the power. Never relinquish your power to nobody else. I don't care how charismatic they are. I don't care how many Instagram followers they have. You have the ultimate power over your life. And if anything, working with Sister Keisha for at least 10 years now. I think it's about a minimum of 10 years. She and I have been working together. It don't seem like it, but never have we asked anybody to join us or give money to where they won't see the immediate results. Most times we ask for money is for something that's going to benefit you, and you can, you know, you get delivered on your goods. We deliver on what we promise you. Because we're not telling you we about to change the world. Just give me $5.99 and I could sell you your what's that? Your sovereignty. Give me $599 and the police won't bother you ever again because you sovereign.
And I'll teach you a new language that I made up.
Go into court with that bullshit if you want to. You going to, but again, you got dudes like Sucker Polite. Said he wrote 90 books. I'm an avid reader. I haven't seen one book that he written. And I done been in Nicholas bookstore, A&B bookstore, and Kiru bookstore, like Sisters bookstore. Like, I done been to all these bookstores. I never seen these books. But you know what I learned the trick was, Brother Devine? You know what the trick is? Certain books written, I believe it's before 1920 or 1940, they weren't copywritten. So you can put the book out again and just slap your name on it. Plagiarism in its highest form.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. How many Think and
Is
Grow
that what
Rich?
he did?
Yes. How many Think and Grow Rich books have you seen written by other authors? Tons of them, right?
Right, it's
First
true.
time I ever read that book, it was by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, which I love. Think and Grow Rich, a Black choice. But Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, the original, is not copywritten, so anybody could put that book back out. So that's what Polite was doing. He said he speak 6 languages, right? Think of 6 languages he said he speak.
Uh-huh.
How about if I told you all 6 of those languages he made up by his own admittance?
All that languages he made up, but none of them equated to deodorant. But I'm gonna step with that.
Yeah. So I'm saying this because to your point about making history, we all have the power, because you see what happens when we give people the power. Our energy, our finances, our support, our attendance is power. We electric beings. We made up of water and electricity. This brain is gray matter. Thoughts are literally electricity flowing through our mind, flowing through the brain, because our mind is the energy that live within the brain. We are 75% water. We know water is a good conductor of electricity. We are literally light beings, not getting on no spooky shit. And I say that we're light beings because we literally have the power. The same way we see things operate outside of us, things operate inside of us. So we got to stop looking outside for power, validation, comfort. We have it all already within us. And with that, I'm off my soapbox.
Man, I'm trying to get y'all's social medias in the chat. That's what I'm sitting here doing.
No doubt.
But I want to, because I'm looking at the time, I want to get into the family reunion portion, right? Now that Brother Devine is back, or President Devine is back. Hold on a second. Let's see if I could do this picture thing.
Brother Devine, can you say something for us? Make sure you're in sync.
No, I'm still on delay.
Oh,
It's all right. We're gonna roll with it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did it put her as the okay? I think that's what I want to do. All right.
You got music to go with the pics?
No, child. I ain't had. We gonna try to do
a family reunion.
Word.
yeah. But then I'm gonna get. It's a good thing I don't, because I would get flagged for anything anyway.
I'm sorry, we've been flagged before.
You sure would.
Whatever we put up, we gonna get flagged for. So,
Jam too. I just had my mother's side reunion Saturday pass. The week 2 weeks before it was my father's side. So, you know, that foundational Black American tradition, we definitely got to hold on to in every way possible. In every way possible.
Let's see. Maybe it'll let me. Oh no, this is not gonna work like this, huh? Now, how do I get it down now? Remove. Okay, so let's try this again. I don't know how to put these pictures up now. Lord.
That's all right. Practice
Okay.
perfect.
Yes, this is my first time on this platform. So, and it's not quite like StreamYard, but I guess that's the reason I'm using it.
We gotta have Tad tell y'all how he saved Black Lives Matters folks from getting their head busted.
Oh yeah.
Because I was about to listen.
We have the video.
We gonna definitely have to do a space on that. Now, how that out, child? I'm struggling over here. I'm really.
You want to get it, sis. We want to get it.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, let's see. Maybe if I get the pictures up and I share that screen, then that's just how I have to do it. I'm gonna start with the first picture of the first hearing we went to. Can you see it?
No.
No. Okay. Let's see. Let's get it. Let's put this here. Let's get y'all back here. All right, now let's try it again. No, no, no. Why is it doing that?
Oh, you know what I could do too when it's time for me to talk? I'll just I can mute out the video so it don't look crazy.
Okay. Share.
That's a good idea, brother.
Now, how do I switch this? Okay. All right. But I want us on there too.
There you go.
Yeah, you see when I first start like now I'm trying. I don't want it to be like that. I wanted us to be in the no. How do I move this over here? Okay, all right. That just a little common sense. Okay, good. This is the first hearing. Where was this at? President Devine.
That's to be honest,
Was this Albany?
That was Albany.
This is Albany. And I think I was texting Keisha, and she was like, what it looked like in there. Because honestly, we don't take pictures. This is something, family, I want y'all to understand this about y'all New York. FBA family, understand this about the New Yorkers. We don't take pictures. We don't be every once in a while we get one or two, but when it be important stuff, like we don't be having no pictures. We are terrible, okay? But the only reason I have this picture is because Sister Keisha asked me what it looked like in there, and I was like this. So that's the only reason why I have this picture. So I wanted people to understand, and I think I have I think I have some video. No, I'm not gonna play a video from this day. All right, now let's see if I can get another one up here. Let's see now. Let's see.
In fact, to just interject a little bit, two things.
Please. Whatever thoughts you have.
So no, I was saying like it's interesting because this ride up to Albany to this event, this was the first time that I ever heard the esteemed Sister Keisha's name mentioned, and on this ride, talking about a Sister Keisha, and I'm like, who is this sister that she just keep talking about and going on and on about and saying like, yeah, I can't wait for you to meet her, and she know this and she know that, and I'm just like, who is this sister that I don't know about, right? That's in this fight, that's doing this work, and I didn't know how much work she had already done, so I didn't know, and so this is just bringing that up. That picture brings up memories, but also for that meeting as well. That was the first, not the first. That was the meeting in which they voted Dr. Jenkins in to be the vice chair of the task force, which now in present time is being disputed and brought up, as something that needs to be redone. So that just bringing that up, just let the people know we were in the building for that vote, and saw it live in real time. And so for them to be making the claim that they're making now, that it's something that is illegitimate or did not happen, that's another conversation that needs to be had and broken down.
Right. So this is just another view on the other side behind me. So you can see wasn't nobody over there. And look at what was the one person in the room.
And what was his position?
I think he probably worked there.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. So there was a number.
I think he was right. I think he was part of like the state. Go ahead, while I cue up the next one, please. Go ahead,
Right.
please.
So I'm glad you're showing these, and I'm glad you guys are seeing what we're seeing with all the empty seats. And yeah, I think that gentleman did work there. He was just so in Albany, they have people that are in charge of opening the room, making sure the room stays orderly, and then have to close the room back down. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because in the beginning, this is something that we had to fight against and fight for. This was on a weekday in the middle of the day, right? And so this was
in Albany.
in Albany. So for me, I can speak for myself. For me to attend that day, I had to take off of work to go there, and it
I
was
had to
during
call in
work,
sick.
right? And it was during work hours, and so this is something that we had to fight for in the very beginning of the task force because they were holding meetings at times where the community could not possibly come without being a detriment unto themselves, but at the same time calling this a community-based task force and wanting to hear feedback from the community. So it was already, from the very beginning, it was a walking contradiction.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
that room looked like. That room looked
Thank you.
But the chat with the sound effects, I need that board.
like.
Okay. This is all of us in attendance.
The magic.
This is all of us in attendance. Okay. Brother Devine. Or
Yeah.
President Devine.
Oh God, just divine to do. So yeah, so obviously that's myself. That is lovely Sister Brooke. That is Annette Wilcox, and that's Sister. Oh, I cannot. I can't.
Oh, right, because she's not she was not a part of Freeman Project. I think we
Right.
met her there.
Yes, I'm trying to think if that sister's name is on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
I don't have it. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to ever forgive
I
myself.
don't
But
remember
yeah,
who. But
this
it's gonna be people here whose names we don't know, but I want them to be because some people we know their faces, but we don't know their names. But I still want to include them just because I don't know their names. I don't want to discount them because look, I love all of y'all. I love meeting y'all, and my memory be bad and stuff like that, but I still love you. And so this is a family. I want people to see who's been out there with us. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
But I'm glad you
So
brought
this
up Pizza because even though I don't remember her name on the top of my head right now, this is obviously you can see this is one of the elders, and she was there and she was in full support of reparations, and she was voicing, because they were saying, those things they try to kill us with politically correctness, right? And so they shout you down when you try to interrupt. But this elder woman was like, listen, I done been here, I done lived enough life. I'm gonna speak when I want to speak. And what she was doing was she was making her thoughts known, even during the times where they were saying you're not supposed to speak. And then she was saying, how are we dedicating all this time to come here, sit here, to listen to y'all, and then at the very end, we get a couple of minutes to share our piece and share our opinion. So she was pointing out the hypocrisy of having such an event on a day like this and then only relegating the community and the people to which you're supposed to be fighting for to only a couple of minutes to speak.
Yep.
And even though it was empty.
Even though it was empty, where we could have had a full-blown conversation, everybody in the room, and still not go over time because that's how many people were not in the room. They still held to that rule of only a couple of minutes for every person. And every person was like 5. If that,
Okay. I'm trying to do too many things at one time. Maybe I
Exactly.
need to focus. I'm trying to put people's Instagrams in the chat. I'm trying to do the pictures here. I'm doing too much. Let me focus. On one thing. Okay, next picture. So then things started getting started, right? Oh, before I get into the family, right? Before I get into more pictures of the family, before I get into more pictures, not that this person isn't family. I gotta put this picture up though. Gotta put this picture up. Because we talked about, this person. And I gotta put this picture up. Yeah. That is at the rally for reparations, and that is where I met Dr. Short. And man, I'm so blessed to know him. Like, so blessed. Next picture. Because he doesn't, everybody knows who he is. I don't have to go into who he is. You know who that is. Okay. And I wanted to put this picture up first, right? This was also at the rally for reparations, right? We did not talk about this person, but I want to talk about this person right now. And this is, I clicked the wrong click. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yes.
I'm about to get my tissue. Miss Dean.
Yes. Go ahead.
I met Miss Dean at the rally for reparations, and she has been like a support system ever since. She calls me, she texts me, she checks on me. Sister Brooke, are you going to be at the rally? Are you going to be at the hearing? Yes, I'm coming. Yes, I'm going to be there. If they don't record us, Miss Dean got us. Miss Dean comes prepared. I don't have nothing ready. I'm always scrambling, writing my speech at the last minute. Miss Dean is prepared. Tripod camera. Yeah, matter of fact, y'all seen her in the background in a couple of whatchamacallits that have gone viral of us because she was there making sure she had video for us. She saved seats.
Yes.
And the genuine love and support that we get from Miss Dean. She is a veteran. She comes from a long line of FBA veterans.
Yep.
And she is family. I just met her at the rally for reparations, but she is my family. And this is about the family reunion. So I hope Miss Dean, I already sent her the flyer, on the side channels. And she supports everybody. She'd be like, Sister Brooke, I'm tired. I can't stay up and watch everything, but I do watch the playbacks. And she supports Black Alpha and Afro Elite and she's always in the comments. Like, I'm in some weird places and I see Miss Dean in the comments. I'll be like, I think she was in that my eye spot, the Dr. My eye spot the other day. We won't talk about that though. We won't we not going there. We ain't got time for that. Okay. We not going. I also met Dr. Ma'at I did not put that picture here because she's not a New Yorker, but I also met Dr. Ma'at at the rally for reparations, and she was an absolutely lovely woman. And we're gonna leave it right there. Now, the next picture before something slips out. Okay. Come on, let me get to the picture. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go to this one first. This makes me laugh. I love it's so much fun when I be seeing y'all at these meetings. Yo. I cannot remember his name right now. Tell me, President Devine, do you remember his name?
Yeah, I'll go with what he would want me to say. That's Mr. Fish and Grits right there. Fish and Grits on Twitter.
Yo, he is so sweet.
Yes, he
so
is.
Sweet. Like, and so passionate. Like I just family.
And
I'm
on
so
the right,
happy to see
okay.
y'all. Go ahead. No, go
Now
ahead. Go ahead.
on the right of to his right, as we're looking at the picture, and
Oh
in front
wait,
of me.
no. Yeah,
That's
yeah, we'll go into that because I got a bigger picture to
oh,
expand
okay,
it so you can see
okay,
everybody. But
okay,
no,
okay.
because they're closer in the front of the picture. So let's go with that. And then when we
Ye-
get to the bigger picture, you can go into the more people to
Yeah,
other
yeah, no,
people.
okay, okay. So you want me to say the names or wait to the
Yes,
other picture?
yes, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So that in front of me, to his right, to the right of him in the picture is Sister Paris. Oh my goodness, she is such a young, dynamic sister. She has come a long way as far as like, as she would say, developing her voice, and
Mm.
she just, I mean, to now where it's just expected for
Hmm.
for her comment and her 2 to 3 minutes or whatever they gonna give her. She gonna take it
Fire.
all and give it all, and it's just, I mean, she has said some of the most profound things in these events, to the point where I've had to copy some of the stuff that she says in the next thing that I say, or have to change something I have said. And one of the most profound things, just in my personal experience, that she said that I used when I went up to Albany the second time, is she said, "How can we get repair from this bill when the bill is a part of the harm?" And I was like,
Mm.
damn.
Yep.
I said, Jesus. Like, it just spoke to my soul. And I mean, that sister just she's just such a lovely, humble spirit. But now, what I'm saying, not saying she's not humble, but like I said, now going to these meetings, like, she just don't be playing. Like, I don't know what she gonna say during her time or
Mm.
during somebody else's time, or to the
Hmm.
commission when they speaking crazy, or they trying to step out of bounds. Like, she is going to speak her mind, and I always know when she's there, because I don't, I'm always like Sister Brooke, I'll be sitting there sometimes, and like, what I'm gonna say is so much to say that sometimes I don't have it in order. And even at the last one in Harlem, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna say, to the point where I went, they got to the point when they got to me, I only had a minute, so it didn't matter what I wrote out. But I remember walking in the meeting, and she's like, Devine, ain't this some bullshit? And I'm like, who is that? I look down, and it's her. And she like, yeah, they out here
Hmm.
bullshit. And I'm so glad you here. And I'm like, you glad I'm here? I'm glad you here, because you called out the bullshit before I even can step in here and call it out myself. So it's just a beautiful thing. And like Sister Brooke is saying, like, now I'm glad she put this together and is framing it in that way, because it was something I didn't really think of. And now looking at it in the way, and when she's framed it here tonight, it really is that. And it's a beautiful thing to like have your family, but in this fight, it's been so much more of a pleasure for me to find my family. And I'm
Wait. Hold
glad.
on, pause. Kathy Dean is in the chat.
See,
Yeah, she's in the chat. That's what I was trying to send you. She
ask,
in the chat.
ask if she got her tripod set up, because she do not be playing.
Yo,
Might have
continue what you was saying, but I had to say that real fast because I told you she always popping up. So, I love her so much. Oh man, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, an assistant in the fatigues. What
No,
she would
no,
want.
wait. I got a better picture. I got a
Okay,
better picture. We ain't gonna do that to
okay.
her. You think I'm gonna let you? I ain't gonna do that to her. I got a better
Boy,
picture.
remember when we was at the Schomburg in Harlem, I had to calm the young sister down in the bathroom. She was ready to punch Greg Carr in the mouth. So I'm like, yo. I said, calm down. She said, I can't take it no more. I can't take it. But I calmed her down in the bathroom. Actually, Tad, you know who she is. We rode home with her from the Bronx.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
She didn't know how to
See,
take the
I
express
wasn't
bus.
even aware of this part. I'm
Oh
learning
yeah,
new
when we left the Bronx, right? We all took the express bus. So she was like,
Uh-huh.
I'm going with y'all. So I could get you to Midtown. She said, that's all I need. And we rode on and we talked on the bus, an express bus going back to Midtown. And so the last one in Harlem, she was tight. When they had the intermission, she walked in the back. She kept going like this. I'm like, yeah. I said, you gotta relax. This is what they want you to do. Relax, sis. But she's real cool. I love her. I love that sister.
Oh my, I am so and see, this is what I'm saying. This is why y'all gotta be there August 16th. That's why y'all gotta be there. The we You know, I've heard Tariq talk about before that how like white supremacy has fun being white supremacy. Like they don't just, you know, they live it, they breathe it, they everything. And to me, that's what these hearings are, because that's how it could be two things. That's how we could be mad, like hot, whoo, on fire, and then come out and take these pictures. Because even though we there to fight, I'm so happy to see I'm not alone. I'm so happy I have family in this. And every time we come together like Voltron and fight, it gives me more fuel to do it again. And I think it's doing that for all of us. And so that's why, like, when I didn't really, I didn't really know what to do, but I was like, I really wanted to focus. Like, we've done a lot of stuff where we focused on other people. You know what I'm saying? Where we was focused on who not doing this, who doing that, who blah, 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 blah. But I wanted to take a second. That's why I started it the way I started it. I wanted to take a second and thank my family for being my family. For not being, well, you are family by blood. I was about to say, not necessarily family by blood, but you are family by blood. But not just the family by blood, but the family that chose me and I chose you. And that is beautiful. And so we're going to go to the next picture before I start crying up in here, okay? Again.
Hold together, sis.
Don't try. Woo. Okay, so let's get to the next one. All right, the next one is gonna be a close up of so we can see everybody that was in the background. Oh, I already had it.
Shout out to Brother Cash too. Brother Cash, Brother Sage.
Hold on, wait, you going too far. Wait,
Hold
on, slow down.
Dun, dun, dun. Dear team.
She might got pictures of them. She might got pictures of them.
Slow down. I didn't get pictures. Look who got the pictures. I didn't get these pictures. You see this in my phone? You see who phone this is? That's Miss Kathy phone.
Right. Yeah. So right.
Brooke is terrible. Okay, I don't take no pictures. I don't remember to take no pictures. I don't be thinking about no pictures. I am horrible. Okay, I did not. I just am the recipient.
Yes.
Of the pictures from Miss Dean. Okay, President Devine.
Lord. Go ahead. Man, so from so we got Miss Kathy. You already know Miss Kathy. That next to Miss Kathy, that's what she would want me to say. Is that's my sister DW.
Okay.
And obviously, the infamous Brother Sage right there. In front of Sage, that's Sister Brooke, obviously. Paris, the little dynamo, and again in the front, Mr. Fish and Grits. And I want to say this, like, and this is not to toot my horn or anything that we've done.
This is who's speaking right now.
It's a beautiful thing to get to this point of this picture. And this was, if I'm not mistaken, this was in Queens, the event in Queens.
Yeah, this was in Queens.
The Queens event. So, and so when we, man, in the beginning, and we did not to have a shameless plug, but it was a great interview done by Sister Brooke, where she interviewed me, and we kind of just broke down what happened in this fight legislatively before we get to this commission being put together. And like she said, the work just calls you, and I'm thankful to be connected to you two that's on this panel, to be considered like family, and for you guys to like be sharing and disseminating and teaching the information and experiences that you guys have had. But like if anybody would have told me that while we were dealing with these politicians, being lied to, being shrugged off, being ignored, being lied on, that we was going to get to a point where there was going to be a group of people that it's not even about trusting us or the work that we did, but just trusting, like Brother Tad said, who your family told you are, enough to say, yo, I'm going to fight for who my family told me that I am, and I'm going to fight with other people based on who their families told them they are. Like, I don't know if I would have believed it at that point, like that we would get here to where we at. And who knows what the amount of time is going to be in the future. But from here, when we get to the next level of what that looks like, I'm going to probably say the same thing, that no one could have told me now that in the future is going to look like what it looks like at that point in time. And I'm just thankful for the work that you guys have done to pave the way for us to be here. And I'm humbled at the notion that anything I put down to do now could possibly pave the way for those to come that aren't here yet and are learning and moving and coming to their own. Because what's beautiful about this, and I'll take a breath here, is that, like Brother Tao was saying about just people trying to force leadership from those that say they're not leaders onto us, or call people that are just doing the work the leaders. And specifically, when you because of how polarizing Brother Tariq is, they want to put that jacket on him. But if you're really having a conversation in good faith, then you understand long before Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Claude Anderson was calling us Native Black Americans and saying the same exact thing for the same exact reasons that have all come to pass now, on why it's imperative that we do it now and wait no longer. But that's if you're having a good faith conversation and really interested in doing the work. But when you're really just trying to push a narrative, what you have to understand more than anything else, in my opinion, is that there is no one leader of this foundational Black American Renaissance, because the leader is our lineage that just is, and who our family told us we are. And because that will never change, this movement will never end.
Brother Devine, I just want to say real quick, Sister Brooke,
please.
Say, I'm thankful for the both of y'all. Sister Keisha, like I said, Sister Keisha and myself has been doing this work together for a decade, but separately, it's been decades. And in fact, I came into this movement with Dr. Khaled, and what I saw in the 90s was discouraging. In the 90s, I was in my 20s, and I was just like, you know what? This is church with a dashiki. This is personality worship. And I had to step back a little bit. But as we stated earlier, Sister Brooke said, it's just in our spirits. It's just who we are to do this work. So when I came back into the movement in about 2010, 2012, somewhere around there, I really came in on the strength of my family. And I'm going to tell you how. Because I was raising my children, and people saw that on social media, like, yo, you're always doing great things with your children. You're always going out with them. You always got them places. I love that. Yo, let me know next time you're doing something. I want to bring my children. And I said, you know what? I reached out to a few people. I'm going to tell you, I inboxed about 100 people about doing something for our young people. Out of the 100, probably 10 responded. Out of the 10, only 4 of us did the work. Me, Sister Tim, a sister named Waukesha, and my brother Mike Jones. We were the only one. And I had this big idea. I'm like, yo, we could do bus rides, take children to museums. We could teach them our history. It's like, yo, how you do this? It's like easy. You don't know no children? Because it's easy to talk about what Black kids don't have. Our kids don't got no discipline. They don't got this. They don't got that. And I'm like, yo, our children only going to be a reflection of who we are. So with that, I started a youth group called Party, Parents Actively Reclaiming Their Youth. And we did some phenomenal, super dope things with the young people. And the quote unquote conscious movement had noticed it. But I'm be honest with you. There's a brother who put Dr. Umar on to the lecture circuit. His name is brother A.A. Rashid. Me and him came up in the sandbox. He was writing books when he was in jail. He did 10 years. And he let all them people know. He's like, nah, Tad is the real deal. Tad is an OG in the streets. Like, y'all don't know, that's if he getting conscious, yo, you know, and he validated me, though I didn't need his validation. And, you know, in certain circles, you need an introduction. And I also had an elder named Baba Sweets, who's been in the Pan-African Black nationalist movement for decades as well, who knew me when I was a young knucklehead. And he was able to vouch for me. And I came into this movement and I dived into the work. Rather, I came back into the movement and I dived into this work. And I wasn't afraid of nobody because this little personality thing, it gets me. I'm from the streets. I'm from the block. I'm from Fulton Street. From Brooklyn, New York, right over Fulton Street. Grew up with Biggie. Grew up with Foxy Brown. Grew up with so many rappers. You know, met the man, spent the night at my house when we was kids. It's like so many artists. But then also so many gangsters too that these artists make records about. But you know what my whole thing was, Sister Brooke? That and 290 will get me on the train. Who cares how tough you are? Get tough for our people. All that energy we have, all that smoke we have for each other, why we don't put all that energy, why we don't put it in developing our own communities? And that's what I chose to do. And I was dedicated to it. You know, and I met Sister Keisha and I met King Simon and so many other people who've been doing the work but was sincere and dedicated. Because see, in the streets, you got to get vetted before you hang out with the crew. What I noticed in the movement, a lot of people weren't vetted. I knew Sister Keisha was solid just because of her aura and her energy. So many people. So Sister Keisha and I don't know, we always in lockstep because even without having a conversation about becoming FBA, because you don't become FBA, but we was pivoting from the Pan-African movement at the same time. It was just crazy. And I guess that's because we seen it all already. And like Sister Keisha told you she was tired, Sister Brooke, I was tired, but I knew what was at stake, our future. But also, I was fortunate enough to grow up in the village. I had my parents were teenage parents. So, you know, I was left with aunties and grandmas and grandpa on my mother and father first side. And I was literally raised with love. There was no abuse in my house. Nobody was getting beat. Nobody was getting touched in my house. Like I was raised on love. And I didn't know how valuable that was until I got older and seen everybody. That wasn't everybody's story. Some kids just didn't want to go home. But I remember the love that my grandparents and my grandparents' siblings, you know, my Uncle Vernon and my Aunt Hazel and my Aunt Juan, they poured into us as children, as collective. Whole bunch of cousins. You know, Doggy Diamonds is my first cousin. Our mothers was his mother passed when we were children. He don't even remember his mother, truth be told. I remember his mother because I'm a little older. But
wow,
the village raised him. He's raised by the village. My cousin is my brother. You know what I mean? And when I grew up in Bed-Stuy, like that's just what it was. Everybody could talk to each other. An adult could discipline a child. As a child, you know to call this person missing. In fact, there was a heroin addict in my neighborhood. When I became an adult, she started calling me Mr. Tad. And I just thought it was funny. And she said, you know, you always been respectful. You always called me Miss So-and-so. I said, because that's what I was introduced to you as. But when I came older and I got in the streets, I never lost that level of respect for her, even though she was using. And I was with that crowd that was selling. You know what I mean? And I said, with this movement, we got to get back to that. Because what I realized in the Pan-African movement, the Black nationalist movement, it's a bully movement. If you don't think like me, dress like me, walk like me, talk like me, eat like me, you ain't like me. Because Dr. Sebi said, Dr. Khalid said, Dr. Amos Wilson said, Dr. Such and Such said, as if these people don't have their own. What do your experience tell you? I hear kill a white man, kill a white man, but you don't say that shit when you're working at Home Depot and they telling you to move them boxes. You don't have. That's when you start realizing it's rhetoric. In fact, and this is no knock to nobody who took the jab, but I was in the movement. And when they was forcing people to take the jab, now mind you, we listen to the doctor so and so, and we reading this and we reading that. And when the government said take them jabs, everybody got in line. I said, hold up,
Devine, get on camera.
I said,
Devine, get on camera.
and when I seen everybody took them jabs, I said, oh, they don't believe the shit they saying. They don't believe in none of that shit. I was dating a sister, right? Who would always talk about, because I eat my beef, I eat my chicken, I eat my turkey, I just don't eat pork. I eat lamb, I eat all that. And she used to be like, Dr. Sabi said. Then one night she said, could you swing me by McDonald's? I said, you joking, right? She's like, no, I got to get something for my mother. And why she didn't get her a burger too? I said, people don't believe the shit they saying. They want to force you into this belief and idea and ideology that they don't believe and still ain't working for them because they gave all their money to Dr. Umar for them abandoned buildings. All he did was take a trip around the world and pay for hotels to sleep with the women. I'm like, and look, when Sister Keisha and myself was checking other groups with their false leadership, everybody's calling us haters. But that was online and behind our backs because Sister Keisha and I, we was on the front line. We was everywhere. We used that pull-up game. She from Fort Greene. I'm from Bed-Stuy. Our pull-up game is tight. Everybody know that. And we not backing down from nobody. You got to show me better than you tell me. But yeah, Brother Devine, what you want to add on to that?
I wouldn't before it because I want to set up what we about to do. We were just having this conversation about the vaccine and how it was hypocritical, for some people. And I was saying that without having to get into, I don't know how deep, we're not gonna go to the names, but without going too deep, for me, like I was raised in the church, like church every Sunday, sometimes Bible study during the week, you know what I mean? Like I mean at church. And then, sometimes we would go to other people's churches, so we go on to 2-3 services on one Sunday, so a lot of my references tend to be very churchy. So for me, I was like, yo, didn't y'all teach me that there was gonna come a time when the mark was gonna come and that I wasn't gonna be able to eat? I wasn't gonna be able to work. I wasn't gonna be. You told me that when this time come, that I'm supposed to stand strong and have faith.
Book of Revelation.
But when the time came and the test came, everybody took it. The church was telling us to take it. The pastor, I said, do y'all read the same book? Because I are we reading the same book? So, Brother Devine, I'm going to let you say whatever you like to say or not say.
I want to say real quick, Brother Devine.
Yeah.
I'm not bashing nobody who took the shot.
Me neither.
Because I understand everybody is at different stages of development. But what I do share with people is I lost my mother to the shot. And I begged and pleaded with her not to take it. And I said, Ma, I've been studying this for over 20 years, please. And she sounded like the commercial, God bless her soul. She said, but Tad, they won't let us travel. I said, Ma, I just came back from Mexico. You don't need it. She said, but I got your grandmother in the house. I don't want her to get sick. I said, Ma, please, we don't know enough about this for you to take it. And my mother took it. And I got the text message in my phone of when she took the first one. Like a week or two after she took the second one. On my sister's birthday, my sister 40th, my sister turned 41. On her 41st birthday, They were partying, and all my sister texted me, "OMG, mommy not breathing." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She FaceTimed me because they lived in Virginia, and she showed me the paramedics working on my mother.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. Because when I signed up for this thing, this revolutionary movement, they said you will lose people you love. They said that. Whether it's people not being your friend anymore, or whether you lose family to death because of what's in play. And that's part of the reason too, because I lost a bunch of friends to gun violence. And I said, we can't live like this when I was a young person. So like getting shot was common. Getting shot and cut was common. I've been shot, dog been stabbed, my brother been shot. Like I don't know. More of my friends been shot than haven't been shot. And that's not a way to grow up. We can change that. So with that jab, when I seen people didn't believe what they said they did, I only stuck with the real ones. That's why I'm still rocking tight. I just had to put that out there, brother Devine.
Nah, and I'm so glad that you did. Man, like I'm gonna go in a different direction because, like she said, I think I don't want to go too far down this road, but definitely like it's because, and I'll make this comparison. I'll say this instead of going down the road I wasn't gonna go down. I'll go down this road instead. Similar to what happened, in my opinion, and my experience with that jab, is very similar to what's going on in this fight that we are in now, right? In this movement, because, and I'll say it this way, because in the same way that Sister Brooke just said, as far as, her biblical foundation, I have that same foundation. I was raised, we most of us in New York that are foundation of Black America, we got ties to the South, you know what I'm saying? So more often than not, we, are Baptists or Southern Baptists, you know what I'm saying? So that's going to be in a lot of our religious background and religious foundations. And so during that time, I'll say this, and what I'm seeing now in the fight now is a lot of people couldn't see it because the beast didn't have a name tag on that said, "Hi, my name is Beast." And the shot didn't have a tag on it that said, "Hey, I'm the mark." And so in that same manner, in that same fashion, in this movement, because a lot of those forces that are opposing us don't say, "Hey," or not wearing a name tag that says, hey, I am here to oppose you. Hey, I am here to undermine you. Most people can't see it.
Right.
And unfortunately, to your point, what you say about progress, one thing that my mentor taught me back in the day when I was, let me not go that far. I was about to say I was selling the $4.99 packages, but back in the day when I was more on my Black capitalism movement, one of the things that my mentor did teach me that made a lot of sense, that's still applicable now, is he said, whenever progress is made, somebody got to get left behind. That's how you know it's progress. And so to that point, in this fight is no different than anything else. Progress is always going to be measured by those that you left behind, because everybody can't go where you're going.
Right.
And it's just a beautiful thing to just find the people that are going to make progress with you, because the same way in which progress leaves people behind, progress takes people with you.
Yep.
And when you get to that next level of progress, there's already people there waiting on you, celebrating you, and a lot of times asking you what took you so long. Because I was waiting to meet you. And so I'm blessed and pleased with the amount of progress that I've been able to make to get to this next level and this new level where you and Sister Keisha have been waiting for us.
Yeah.
And to kind of just talk about this fight and how you guys retired. I always think about when, going back to COVID, and I'll make this connection, make a full circle and land here. during that time, there was a time where the U.S. Freedom Project wasn't going to exist anymore. Like, it was in jeopardy of just ending. Like, so many people had more than enough reason to walk away and to step away for family things that was going on, the unsurety of it all. And during that time, to COVID, to some of the things you talked about, Brother Tal, without going too deep and bringing up too many memories that might trigger. Like, I had family members that died during that time.
Right.
And people were like, yo, what you gonna do? And I was like, if I have more than enough reason to step away, I was like, but I know if I do, then this portion of the fight that I'm still fighting for that same family will cease to exist. And it's just as important as grieving or possibly taking the time to support you in the way that you need to be supported right now with the death that's surrounding our family. And I just had to make a decision. And I say this a lot. It's easy when a decision is good decision and bad decision. It's hard when the decisions are bad decision and worse decision. And you got to choose the bad one. Right? And so, not saying I chose the bad one to keep this fight up, but it was just a tough ass decision to say, you know what? I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna stay in this fight to keep this going because I know this is gonna be needed in the long run. And I'm just gonna have to deal with not being able to grieve. I'm gonna have to deal with God looking at me maybe a little bit sideways because I didn't come give you the support that you needed in this moment. But in my mind, I know you'll still get through. But if I don't do this, none of us gonna get through.
Right.
And so just in this fight and hearing y'all testimony, y'all story, and drawing on it for inspiration, like it always leads me back to, I always speak in movie needs because I've seen so many, in this life that I've had so far. Some of our classes, some other ones from the outside, societies. And I think about the Rocky movie before we even get to Creeds, right? When we get to the Rocky movie, it was the one where he was fighting Tommy Gunn. And Tommy Gunn got the best of him. And he was walking off with the Don King character. And Rocky stood up. He's like, hold on, where you going? He's like, the fight's over. He's like, nah, I didn't hear no bell. Right. And all of us are still in this fight because we didn't hear no bell. We might have got knocked down. We might have got knocked out. But we didn't stay down for the 10 count. And the bell hasn't rung on our people yet. And that's what this fight is.
Yeah.
We getting ready for the next round.
With that spirit that you have and to keep this going, it's the reason why Fat Joe's been called to the carpet.
Come on.
Kamala has been kicked off. It's the reason why Busta Rhymes has been called out. See, I was sharing with somebody the other day with the whole Essence Music Festival. I think it was just because the Africans tried to hijack it. No, don't forget last year. People walked out on Busta at this.
That's right.
That's right.
Why? Because you can't talk that black people ain't got no culture in the black belt. But see, if you was soil, like you said, Brother Devine, most of us got our roots and lineage come from the South.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I apologize. Hold on. I is just 3 more people I just want to get to before because I want to go get into what you get into, but I'm looking at the time and I got this 3 this is one in particular, well 2 in particular, well all of these people I need to I don't want to leave them out. So but I want to talk about that. So just maybe write down what you're about to say. Okay. So yes, please, because I definitely want to hear it. But I just want to make sure that we get the family in here. Lord. Now, how do I get back? Okay. Last time I did it like this. Okay. Window. So President Devine, you ready?
Lord have mercy. Devine, yes, I'm ready.
Hello, you there, Devine?
Yeah. Is that?
Oh, wait, God, tell me. That's Tremaine.
Yeah, I say that's King Tremaine.
That's King Tremaine.
I was about to say that's King. That's and that I think that's in Queens.
No, actually, it could be. It's either Queens or Albany. I think it's probably Queens because I probably didn't.
Queens. That's Queens.
Yeah, that's
probably
Queens.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
Queens.
Because he was in Albany. Well, not was in Albany. No, it was Rochester.
Rochester. He was in Rochester with us. Yeah.
He was in Chaz, all the blur. Yeah, but yes, okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah, so this is our brother King Tremaine, and again, this is the beauty of man. This is just the beauty of this family because just like we all know, when we got family, there's family that we agree with, and there's family that we disagree with. But at the end of the day, it's still family. And so I know in my household, I call it a foundational Black American proverb. My mother used to always tell me, what happens in this house stays in this house. And just because I had a fight with my brother, if we went outside and somebody picked on him and I didn't step in, both our ass was getting whooped. It didn't matter what happened in the house between me and my brother. So if we had a disagreement, that don't mean somebody on the outside has a right to have a disagreement with him and I'm gonna take their side. That ain't never gonna happen. And so with this brother King Tremaine, like we have multiple agreements and multiple disagreements. But at the same time, when you are fighting for your people and the people could see that and respect that, those differences become petty instead of major. And just as a testament, we disagreed on a number of things, but I explained it to him like, listen, this is where I'm at. This is how I feel. And the difference, just to make it full transparency, our difference was just on the term free. Our biggest difference was on the term freedom because he was like, no, Black American is enough. That's our ethnic group. We could use that. And I'm like, no, that's still a racial term. And so he had dealt with some other people where he was like, I don't know about the Freeman term. It's kind of shaky. And he was judging it on the people that he was hearing it from. And I was like, listen, whether you like me or don't like me, I need you just to understand the scholarship from which I'm coming from. Judge that. Don't judge me, right? Don't judge me. Judge that. But based on that conversation and then him getting able to see and evaluate who I was as a person and how I was moving in Rochester. And what's crazy is we left that conversation on a little bit of a disconnect, right? On a agree to disagree. And then I didn't get a chance to make it to Rochester because I just couldn't do it. Thank God again, the family stepping in, Sister Brooke and Sister Keisha was there to make sure we had representation. But what's wild is I'm watching the video, the playback, because I couldn't make it. Matter of fact, I'm watching live. And this brother King Tremaine gets up in Rochester and he's like, yeah, like the president of U.S. Freedom Project, Devine says. I'm like, what? This brother went there and quoted me.
That's love.
After having a disagreement with me, but saying, nah, you know what? I saw it and now I understand what you're talking about. And that's the type of people that you meet and you work with and you build a relationship with when you standing on your square and you doing it the right way and you really fighting for your people. And it was just a beautiful thing to see. I was shocked as hell. Like I didn't expect that at all. And it was just, and that's not to impress anybody about me, but just to impress upon you about us that as long as you stay on your square and stay true to the work, like that's how you be known. Not to get too preachy. I know we brought up, the mark of the beast of the Bible and all that other stuff, but it has been said that you will be known by the fruits that you bear, not the fruits that you tell people you bear. And so I just leave it
Yeah, and you know what's funny, right? Because Sister Brooke said don't, and I'm gonna give Sister Brooke the mic back. But I agree with you 100% because where I was going, this is how the spirit be in alignment. Where I was going with that was denouncing the Black American thing. That's why
there.
we use foundation because all intents and purposes, Kamala Harris is a Black American.
Come
Barack
on.
Mm-hmm.
Black American. Busta Rhymes a Black American. Fat Joe, not so much. But anybody who comes here, regardless of where they from, become a U.S. citizen is by all intents and purposes legally a Black American.
That's right.
So yeah, that's why I'm in full agreement with you because all delineation means is giving something a specific definition. When we say a Chinese person, we know where they from. We know a Chinese person is connected to China. We know China has a history and a culture, a landmass. So when we say foundational Black Americans, we know we were here before it was even a country called the United States of America. We
That's
were
right.
our ancestors built this. So yeah, I'm just saying I'm in agreement with you, and that's where I was going with it, Sister Brooke. why it's so important that we delineate and stand
Yes.
on what we're standing on. Because most people understand. Most people be like, "Your brother Chad, how could you say you not an African?" I say, "Yo, we have African ancestry.
Come on.
That's ancient. But what has happened in the past few centuries? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Ancestors are buried here. My history is here. My knowledge base is here. Only language I speak is English and Ebonics. That's it. That's it. This is
Mm-hmm.
my ancestors was here prior to the Europeans. My ancestors literally built this country. They want us to abandon this developed house that we built to go to an undeveloped place while the people from the underdeveloped place come here and cosplay us. Why would I build a house for you and I got to go to your block and build your house and live there?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
ain't got no plumbing, you ain't got no lights, you ain't got nothing going on. But you
That's
want
right.
to play places and try to make me feel guilty for being smart enough to know you don't abandon your house or your people or your land.
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to curse, but yeah.
But I that was perfect because I thought of two honorable mentions before I get to the two last people that I had that I wanted to put here. So that gave me time to get my honorable mentions up because I don't have no pictures of them, right? But but hold on. Let's see. Let's see. First, let's get it up here. Okay. I hope they will be in attendance. These are honorable mentions because well, one person I've met in person, the other person I have not. We'll start with the person that I met in person. We'll start with this one right here. Let's bring her up. Share the screen. Stop sharing that one. Start sharing this one. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Net.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Now, I met Net in person, but most of our interaction has been online. Net is an extremely dedicated to reparations of all states. Like we watch in New York, she watching it all. She frequently holds spaces um for everyone's meeting. Um she is just a constant support. And I wanted like, I don't have any pictures of her and now she probably wouldn't want me to put a picture up anyway. But I did want to mention her and I'm gonna, anyone else have I just wanted to, make sure that we mentioned her. And so President Devine, you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, she has definitely been a godsend to our efforts here in New York. I have met her in person
Mm-hmm.
and got a chance to work with her. She actually came out to last year, the African American Day Parade, when we was out there, had a booth teaching the crowd, teaching the family on who the freemen are, who the Foundation of Black American are. We actually had the actual Juneteenth flag out there. We had the Black American Heritage flag, because it's a sea of red, black, and green, because they had a 100-year head start. But what I will say, and she was there witnessing it, is that and I think we've been there now. This might be our third year in a row or fourth year in a row. I'm trying to think in top of my head, but either way, last year, out of all the years we've been there, last year was the most Black American heritage flags and Juneteenth flags I've ever seen. And so it's moving. Like we are definitely moving in the right direction, gaining steam and picking up momentum. So I'll say that and end there.
All right, I'm back. Okay, so one more honorable mention. Okay, I don't think he's in New York at all because Net is in New York, but
Somebody asked a question in the chat, Devine. Will you guys be at the parade this year with a booth?
100. Oh, matter of fact, I need an honorable mention. I don't know if he's one of your honorable mentions, but I think he's in
right.
the chat too. I got to
Hold
shout.
on.
I got to shout out my brother Melrose Radio, Mr.
Ah,
Mr. Mike.
no. Hold
He,
on. Wait, well, let me because he definitely is an honor. Not even because I just don't have no pictures of him, but I got something else that I was gonna do for him.
okay,
But go
cool.
ahead. I'll put it up
Yeah,
now. So go ahead and keep talking. I'm
yeah,
gonna get it together. Hold on.
my brother Mike moves in silence. He always somewhere, always doing something. Right now, he has a foundational Black American business directory that he's building out right now.
That's what I'm about to put up.
Oh, you about to put that up? Yeah. So just want to.
Yes, that's what I'm about to put up.
He's the one that helped us have a booth at the African American Day Parade. He had a deal with one of the churches to DJ outside the booth. And so this brother, man, oh my goodness, this brother, I mean, essentially gave us full control over the booth that he garnered, that they gave to him so he could play his music, gave us the mic to talk about whatever we want to talk about on that corner, um, helped us promote when we were trying to get signatures to get this unconstitutional bill vetoed by the governor. He was out there working with us to get the signatures, calling people in, using the mic to get signatures. That brother is a warrior for our people. Matter of fact, he got thrown out of the Schomburg.
Yes, he
That was,
did.
yeah, that was the same event that I got cursed out by the leader of the December 12th movement, the elder that passed on to be with the ancestors.
Viola Plumber, Tad. It was Viola Plumber.
Yeah, I know exactly who he's talking about.
Yes. So she cursed me out at that same meeting that he got thrown out of. And I did not disrespect the elder, just for full transparency for those that know. But he got kicked out, and what was great about him getting kicked out, and I told him that after we left that meeting, and in fact, that was a meeting where I met the lovely sister Brooke in person. And I told him that him getting thrown out shifted the energy in the room to the point where it was more like, they was PCing us in under control and PCing us into submission. And when he got thrown out, he just erupted the energy in the room and it spread like wildfire. And people were shouting those people down when they were disrespecting our lineage, trying to talk about we have to, come together and just forget about anything lineage specific. Like, even though he got thrown out, this brother set the stage for everybody else to stand on what he did and really give them people hell in that meeting, and kind of turn the tide of what the advocacy looked like at that moment, to stand up for our people, to say, no, it's okay for us to be a little bit loud and boisterous. We ain't pulling up no towels like other groups, but we can't be quiet either when we out here pushing back against disrespect. So I want to just give that brother his flowers. And yes, he is the one that has helped us get a booth. And if he's going to be out there again this year, we shall definitely be there. And we're working on something real special. I don't want to divulge yet for this year's march and parade. Based on just some historical context and just the history of our people in this country. So I want that to be a surprise, just in case we do get a chance to pull it off. I think it's going to be amazing. I think the family's going to like it. So we're working on that right now as we speak.
Okay, I just want to put up his Twitter real quick. Hold on. I'm getting it.
I think it's Ellie in the chat. You could go to usfreemanproject.org, right, Devine? To donate.
Yes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we listen.
So
we
go to usfreemanproject. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Devine. Go ahead, tell them.
No, definitely. Yes, www.usfreemanproject.org. We are an official 501c3, so it definitely is tax deductible, and you get a receipt, and it's all legit. and all, you know, donations and proceeds go to us just continuing to do the work. None of us are getting paid for this work. We have to pay to go to these events. We have to take off work if that's what we're going to do. And this is not us crying about it or expecting people to pay our way, because I'm going to do it anyway. I just want you to know what the work goes, you know, what any donation you make goes towards, is going toward the fight for our people. And like what the Taz said, you know, about people that have taken money that doesn't go toward the moving work, and right in line with what they have done with anything that has been given to them, we do our very best to show and prove, and we are never above the people. We are right here with you. So at any point, any question that needs to be asked on what happened or what's going on, what you doing next, or now with it, like all those questions are welcome, because when you don't have anything to hide, you don't mind any questions.
Okay, so I want to move along, because I just want to make sure we get to everybody, and we say the nice things that we want to say. So I want to move along real quick to get to this last honorable mention, and then the two people that I was actually, you know, had on here. Hold on. Did I already have it up? I thought I did. I guess not. Okay, well, I'll just bring it up now. So I'm gonna let President Devine lead the charge. Okay, maybe I'll start. Earn. Go ahead. You there? You're back. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you gonna make me step down. Uh, um, so yeah, this our brother Earn. Man, he's this dude is so dedicated. He's actually in Michigan. He has his own Freeman organization out there. I believe it's the Freeman Agenda of Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. God, don't kill me, Earn, on the playback. I think that's what the FAM stands for, so I'm gonna go with that. And he is also, you know, he works in tandem with Sister Net, and just the amount of work that he has done with and for us, like just donating his time, his expertise. You know, he does an amazing job with visual graphics and, you know, and graphics design.
Mm-hmm. I said I forgot all about that part.
Yeah. And the brother does, you know, great work. He's gonna be helping us update our website and bring it more, you know, more modern, you know, because that was just the one we had and could afford, since we all just, you know, we working on shoestring budgets. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But yes, so this brother is a value soldier in the fight. Somebody I'm proud to call my brother, and you know, we've had just chop it up sessions. You know, he will tell you that, you know, he's following our lead, but that is not the case. We are walking shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm with this thing. And you know, he recently, I saw on his Twitter, he got a chance to speak at a NAACP branch in his neck of the woods, and the way in which he laid out, you know, the blueprint for our justice claim and what that organization needs to be doing to get in lockstep with us. Yeah, the brother is not afraid to speak truth to power, respectfully, and disrespectfully at times, but mostly respectfully to whoever needs to hear it, so that we can move this agenda forward for our people. And he is in that Michigan area, writing and advocating with legislation. Like he's in the rooms, like we are in the rooms with the politicians, looking to move the needle forward legislatively, while giving them the tools that they need to craft this stuff constitutionally sound, so that what we get is what we get, and not just a failed attempt that you try to play off like it was a real attempt.
I said, of course, now I'm getting a little technical
Thank you,
difficulties here.
Brother Devine. U.S. Freedmen Project just received a $100 donation.
Oh
Oh
wow,
my goodness. Wow.
that's
Yeah,
love.
thank you, Ellie. Oh, Ellie. I hope I'm saying it
Ellie.
right.
Wow. Ellie. Oh my goodness. You know, and that's a bad thing. I don't really even be talking about getting, that we should I really just wanted to love on the people. And so I'm appreciative that people take the time to donate when I'm not doing a great job about asking for donations. Just like I don't be taking no pictures, okay? But I'll get better at these things and like and share the program. Yeah, I'm terrible at that stuff too. Like and share. I'm good at loving on people though. I'm good at that. So I stick to my what I'm good at. So let's get back to it. Oh, please work. Come on. All right. So the last two ladies I saved. Sorry. The best for last. Okay. And so let's get to it. Oh, I'm so excited. So we had a picture of her earlier, but we kind of like went over her too fast. I like to put those speed bumps and bring it on back and slow it on down. And so I wanted to play a little bit of her testimony.
Hmm.
Oh, look at the time. I ain't got time. I ain't got time. It's 10:50. I ain't got time. I wish I could.
And it only was 3 minutes.
Huh? Yeah, but I got a hard stop at 11. Okay, so I ain't got time to play it. I wish I could, but I've definitely posted it on my Twitter, and I might have been on my IG as well. I've definitely posted this speech here before. But go ahead, brother Devine.
Yeah. So now that I know that you got a hard stop, I'll go fast. But definitely,
Hmm.
um, is Annette. She has been with us since the beginning. She is a founding member of the U.S. Freeman Project. She also has a twin, just for and her twin will also. I mean, she has. Oh my goodness, she has. Whenever we have gone to Albany, she has been there. She had 1 year when we did the workshop in 2023. I think that was, or 2024. Time be quiet. But anyway, she gave out books. Dr. Darity's book she gave out. She gave out Slavery in New York as another book. And these are books that she just bought and was giving out to people that had questions or were coming up to us and having conversations with us about reparations. So her and her sister are warriors. Um, like so they have been here since the beginning, and they are invaluable to what we've been able to do. Like she is, man, like it's just amazing when I see, you know, like the elders that have so much fight and energy in them to do this. I mean, there are days where she just has outworked me, and that just motivates me to get back in there. She's just, tireless. When we were doing the meetings with the politicians, before we met member Lucas, she was the one that created the spreadsheet that had all the meetings, all the legislative directors, all the yeses, all the nos, when the next meeting was. Like this is just who she is and just how vital she is to this, not only to the our organization, but to this movement, at large. And she, man, her lived experience and what she's seen, and her work with like labor unions, like just the stuff that she's seen in our fight and in our history is just invaluable to our org and to this movement.
And I just they were so welcoming to me.
Mm.
Like they didn't know me. They didn't like when I met her at the Schomburg with her and her sister. Like they were just so like welcome. It was like meeting aunts. And so I couldn't let us just go past her picture like that. And then I got this one right here. Hold on. Because I want to make sure that we give her time, okay? Oh, Lord, my mouse. Come on, mouse.
You wanted to
I
tighten
got,
up Carl and the rest of them too.
huh?
The Schomburg was lit.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
people up, boy.
Yeah, they definitely was pissing us off. Okay, come on, please work for me. Don't give me no problems. Come on. This one, I'm a.
My name is Reverend Phyllis Coach.
Hold on. You might have got a. It might have gave you a little clue who it's gonna be. Okay, here we go. That's Dr. Jenkins, who also deserves an honorable mention. But we're gonna get into her deeper.
Yes.
So we're gonna do this honorable mention, but we're gonna get into Dr. Jenkins deeper. Like we're gonna do a whole show about her by herself. Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna have to come back to that. So that's why I didn't really have her up or anything like that. But she definitely gets an honorable mention here because we're gonna go into her extensively. Okay.
100.
But let me press play.
My name is Reverend Phyllis Coach.
Can y'all hear?
And I am a founding member of the U.S. Freedom Project.
Okay, can y'all hear?
Not anymore.
Not even we stopped it.
We heard it.
Yeah, we heard it though.
Okay,
Oh,
before you heard it, before right, even when I was on mute. Perfect, got it, making sure.
Not no more.
yeah, it's not playing at all. Stopped. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So I stopped it only because I don't think I have time to do her whole speech and talk about her, right?
Right.
That's the
That's
only
true.
reason I stopped it, but I wanted her to introduce herself,
Okay.
right? So we
Yes.
got to I wanted, people to hear from her words who she is. A founding member. President Devine?
Yes. So now this, and she hates when I do this. I think she's watching now.
Oh, she gonna be mad. It's okay because we're gonna love on you today.
Yeah, because
We're
I'm
not
doing
gonna stop
this
this
is
love.
yes. This is doctor because she hates when I put and I'm like, no, you are like, what is you hiding it for? This is Dr. Reverend Phyllis Coachman. And she is our resident prayer warrior, spiritual leader. Man, just the man, what they say, the straw that stirs the drink, like, right? This is our engine, man. I mean, again, founding member. She has been here from the start, helped us make some of the most difficult decisions that we've had to make, prayed over us and kept us covered. Um, she went down there, and this is kind of one of the, man, just how this thing is full circle, how the family shows up, and you never know where you're gonna see the family at. She went down to the African burial ground to speak truth to power to Charles Barron, and Charles Barron told her with his full chest, "You don't belong here. Get out of here. This ain't for you." And she's like, "No, I'm here for reparations for my people who you supposed to be fighting for. You fighting for something else and for other people." He's like, "Yeah, this don't go. This ain't for you. Get out of here." And who but the honorable mention, brother Mike Melrose Radio was there at the
He be
African burial.
everywhere. He is everywhere.
He was there, and he was like, "Nah, you're not going to talk to the elder like that. What's wrong with you?" And so she had backup that she didn't know she was going to have. She had backup we didn't know she was going to have or even need. And what came out of it, which is most profound, is the first time. It's the only at this point. So we praying in the spirit of being her being a prayer warrior. We're praying for other opportunities, but she out of that event, speaking truth to power, having Melrose Mike as her bodyguard and family member down there to make sure nothing else is going to happen to her and shut them people up with things like that. But this constituted us having our first op-ed in a newspaper where we got a chance to speak about lineage-based reparation, what our position was, that we're not against the people, that we're not against Pan-Africanism, but that we have to stand up for our people because we're getting erased through this ideology, whether it's intentional or unintentional. And she was able to pen that, put that into that newspaper, that digital newspaper, and that's just a fraction of what she's been able to do with the the church that we're going to be in on Saturday for the event that was being promoted for disaggregation. That is her church. She talked her church into letting us use it for that purpose, and has had many battles. Truth be told, because unfortunately with a lot of our older institutions, they are willing to sacrifice, unfortunately, our lineage on the altar of unity. And Dr. Reverend Coachman is one of those people that are like, no, not on my watch. We're going to have unity, but we're going to have unity the right way. And us standing on who we are as a lineage is not divisive. And so she has had that battle, and now we are able to even use her church as the hub and as the location for this event and other events that we'll have in the future. And so she's just a warrior all around and will speak truth to power whenever, to whoever, and however. She's just that type of person, but will do it in love, because she got that ministry on her. So she'll do it in love, but you will get the message. So she's just a powerhouse for our organization, and just like I said, just such esteemed spiritual counsel, but more importantly, just family. Just family.
So that is perfect. And now we have come to the conclusion. And I want to wrap this up by saying, please come on out to the family reunion. Yeah, like I said earlier, we are going to learn how to combine our fight with our fun. Okay, so we're going to learn about disaggregation and this bill that we have, how we got it together, all that kind of stuff. Disaggregation, delineation, what it means, what we're going to do, what we're doing, what has been done. We're going to get into all of that. But more importantly, it's a family reunion. Come pop out, come meet us. You know what I mean? I saw a lot of things where people are like, where are we at? Well, come see where we at. Come check us out. And real quick, Eddie, you guys want to wrap it up? As you see what time it is.
Because I got to get out of here too. But I just wanted to say, look how things work. One of the things I teach my sister Brooke is how to connect dots and see where things are right in front of you. Just a couple of months ago, a month ago, a young Black sister was brutally attacked by a transvestite and his mama on this very same block. Now on Saturday, your ancestors is calling you right back to that block to get in touch with the Freedmen's Project and everything that they're doing for your reparations. Pay attention to things. Never lose sight of what you see right in front of you.
I just want to say, can you hear me, Sister Brooke? I just want to thank you and Brother Devine for inviting me to your platform. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you for sharing your audience with us as well. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Truly love and appreciate the support. And hopefully y'all will inspired by something you heard here tonight. Your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, it's always better days ahead.
Yes. And Brother Devine.
Now that was some OG wisdom right there. From both, pun intended. Yeah, I just want to say, just come out, pull up, in love, like, let's chop it up. We family, no matter what. And so we have a mission. The mission needs you, your people need you. And so, as long as we fighting for the people, we need the people to come out and fight. And so just come learn what the fight is and how we're arming ourselves to fight and what we're doing in this fight, that in this next level of fighting for our people. And we're in the middle, right? We're in the middle, in my opinion. Not even the middle, we are in the infancy stages of this foundational Black American renaissance. Like, it's such a beautiful thing to be a part of. And so, we're just excited to meet you, just the same way we met everybody else that flashed across the screen. And who knows, by the next homage we pay to our family that we met and worked with along the way, your picture will be on the screen, or you'll be on the panel sharing the family members in this next, iteration of this next level of the fight. So on that note, I'll end with the motto of the org. We were freedmen then, we are freedmen still, and there's nothing like a freedman's will. We ain't hear no bell.
And like Professor, we let the applause go. And I'll just add on to that, like Professor Carver says, it ain't over till we win. So, like I said, I have enjoyed meeting all of the family that we have met so far. And I look forward to meeting you. And ask me to take a picture, because you already know I'm bad at that, right? And then send me the picture, okay? Because I'm bad at that, right? So ask, like, please, because I'm bad at it, but we want the pictures. It's so good. I'm so glad that somebody's taking something. Okay, so come on out, take pictures with us, learn with us, fellowship with us, network with us, see who your family is. Like you were saying about the Reverend. She's out and about. Didn't know she had family around. And not just family, one of the warriors. You know what I'm saying? Just happened to be in her vicinity when she needed him. Come out. Meet your family. We gonna be there waiting. We got refreshments and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Come out, meet us. And on that note, I'm done. I'll see y'all there. I love y'all. For real, for real.